What is up? What is up? What is going on? What is going on, good people? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Shout out to Christian Hutchinson down there at the bottom. I just looked over your email. You sent me some facts, stats, and data, and it was just too statty and data-y. I may have to bring you up to help explain explain what you saw, because it's sort of related, kind of related to the discussion, or at least you see it that way. So I'll let you come up and explain it and frame it how you want to frame it. If you're available, I'll bring you on up. We could talk about that data, because I do like going through the data. I do like going through the data. But shout out to everybody in the building. I'm going to be covering a number of topics today, but the main one is something came across my desk where the term resting in femininity was just thrown out there crazy. So I always ask questions. I have a tendency to reject the premise when someone throws or floats an idea, a concept out there. I have a tendency to reject the premise. So I'm simply asking the question, what does resting in femininity mean anyway? Just like I asked the question, what does women coming back to the table, what does that even mean anyway? So the whole concept, the term, the thing that they throw out there all the time about how they can't rest in their femininity, as if that's a thing. Somebody in the chat already said it's a buzzword. So yeah, we're going to be getting into that. Going to be breaking that down and a number of things. So let's get ready to go. Let's strap on in. Let's go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, let's get ready to go. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Good morning. Happy what's this today? Happy Thursday morning. Forgot what the day is. I didn't know what day it was, but shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you coming on through. Joe Ethereal said, gotta respect the authority of masculinity first. Shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate everybody coming on through. Shout out to early bird squads, those that make it in bright and early before I even get things started. Appreciate each and every one of you. Joe Ethereal also came through with the first comment, says salute. LB Crypto in the building says, let's go. Hit the like button and share the program for the number one show in the Black Manosphere. You overrate me every morning, but I'll try to live up to it. Little Rock 2517 says, yo, shout out to E. Capone in the building. Shout out to Joe Ethereal once again. He says about to cook some code switching chameleons. I don't even think this is a code switching chameleon thing that I'm on right now, but you kind of you on to something there. You on to something there. But long tongue song. I always say his name like that. Says peace, early gang. Shout out to Christian Hutchinson. As I mentioned earlier, we sent me some data that I'll probably bring him up. We'll probably talk about that if he's available. Sent me some good data to sort of center around some aspects of this conversation. But Megamortis in the building, eclectic agitator in the building, uneducated lame. He said that thumbnail is unfair use. Oh man, yeah, man, yeah. He said this should be a good one. Let's rest in our masculinity. LOL. Yeah. We about to rest in our masculinity today. But shout out to everybody in the building, and shout out to RM. Says on the way in the building. Hit the. Oh wait, no, wait, hold on. Al Boogie jumped in. It was trying to go on the way in the building, hit the like button, but Al Boogie dropped in a comment before she made her next comment. So it's on the way in the building, get the likes up. He did an interception right there. All right, you said you're here until noon. All right, cool. I try to get you worked in by 11:40ish. 11:40ish. I'll try to see what I can do on that. But shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Before I hop into the main topic, I did see something that was pretty damn interesting and funny, and I want to share it. I want to share it with you. Hold up. I don't like the way that looks, but I don't like that at all. But we about to dig into this. Come on, where we at? Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button.
And I opposed defunding the police. Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message. Violent criminals, and I opposed defunding the police. Look, if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message.
These political ads be getting too funny to me. These political ads be getting too funny. He said, I'm opposed to defunding the police. And if you got a problem with that, next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. Don't call. Don't call the police if you got a problem with the police, don't call them when you get in trouble. Call up a crackhead. That is the funny thing about that. And hold on, let me slide over just a little bit. All right. All right. I think I'm in the building. My chair done got squeaky up. I need a whole nother chair. Well, I got another chair. I got two of them. I just got to start using the other one because this one done got squeaky on me. But here's the deal. We will criticize the police for what they do. But then when somebody does something to us, we call the police on this person who's done thus and so to us. And then sometimes when the police, handle a situation, somebody get locked up, then we march. we march and we protest and we put on the free J-Rock t-shirts for somebody who we would in most cases call the police on. That is the absurd thing that we do. It's like a scene in the Boondocks with when they had a bunch of junk going on and the police showed up, and then Riley was like, "Oh, good, the police. Oh, wait a minute, who snitched?" It's like that's that's what we own. That's what we be on here. It's like no, the, that's why I'm saying these political ads, they get real funny. They get real funny when you really sit back and listen to them. You got a problem with the police. You don't like the police. When you get in trouble next time, call a crackhead. Because that crackhead breaking your house, you call the police. The crackhead break into your house, you know you got to call the police. When the crackhead break into your house, you call the police. Okay, next time some shit happen, call the crackhead if you got a problem with the police. I thought that was funny. I thought that was very, very fucking funny. I could probably do a whole show just playing cringy political ads because yesterday we covered the cringiest political ad of all political ads. A political ad couldn't get cringier than that. There are a lot of political ads that are in, recent political ads. I'm not talking about get your booty to the poll or vax that thing up or anything like that. I'm talking about ones that are recent, that are happening now. Ones that are very recent and happening now. They are in a distant second place. They are in a distant second place. So there's that. That's one thing to think about. I'll probably be doing that. I'll probably be collecting political ads to play. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But y'all make sure hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. We're about to get into this. We're about to tackle this whole resting in the femininity thing. We're about to tackle this whole resting in the femininity. And what the hell does that even mean? What the hell does that even mean? I'll go ahead and skip to the end. It means nothing. It means nothing. I'll go ahead and skip to the end and say that. I'll go ahead and skip to the end and say that the whole resting in the femininity. It means nothing. It means nothing. It is a tool that's used to try to get you as a man to accept less. It's a tool that's used to try to get you to feel lesser about yourself as black men, as a collective group. It's a tool to try to get us to feel lesser about ourselves so we'll accept less from them. That's pretty much what that is. When they say that we're not in a position to rest in our femininity, they are trying to devalue what it is that you do. Shout out to Anchorman when he say black men are judged by not what they do, not by what they've done, but what they haven't done. So it's a way of pointing out everything that black men as a collective group haven't done. So her as an individual can act in a fucked up way that's not conducive to a normal functioning relationship, even though you're doing normal functioning stuff. You're a normal functioning person, but you're not. But they'll point out something that the collective group has not done or accomplished, and then we're even going to find out in this video the exaggeration of what other groups have done and accomplished, and then to try to say that their women are somehow resting in their femininity, which we statistically know is very, 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 very far from the truth. That when it comes to their women resting, the whole term, the whole concept. Shout out to everybody who, I think it was BGS, who popularized the term, the myth of white womanhood. The whole notion that they think these other women are sitting out on patios on a hot sunny day with an umbrella on a patio sipping lemonade, and that's what they do. that is far from the truth. But let's get into this video made by this sister who walked into a meat market or meat little a food shop, some little meat market owned by Hispanics, and had a lot to say. So let's get into it.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Hispanic meat market. Y'all see who going in there? Hispanic women. Y'all see that? They got fresh fruits and vegetables in this community for their women to be able to shop. See that? They got fresh meats. And they got butchers back there. They come into their neighborhoods. Listen. Y'all really don't want to talk about it. Y'all see how they women able to rest in their femininity?
Answer me this. In a population, in an area, let's just say that in the city, in the rough area, there's 10,000 Hispanics. All right. It's about 10,000 Hispanics. Of that general area, let's just say there's 30 or so businesses like that, family businesses. People build businesses. They have their their relatives working in there, the wife, the daughter, the cousins, the aunties, them uncles, everybody in there working together. That is a good thing. That is a beautiful thing. Not taking nothing away from that. That is wonderful. We need more of that in the Black community. But of the 5,000 women that live in that general area, the capitalist nature of the way that America is set up, the people that are benefiting from that are the people who are directly connected to the people who own it, and the people who are directly connected to the people who own it. Just like how you saw women in there, you didn't see them on a patio sipping lemonade. You saw them in there cooking and preparing the food. You saw them in there working. All the other women in the community don't get to rest in their femininity because there's a Hispanic meat market. No, they get to go in there and buy some meat, just like they would go to Walmart and buy some meat. The only thing is they go into this Hispanic meat market and paying more for some meat, which is wonderful in the name of community. But what does that have to do with how the woman who goes in there and she buys some chicken leg quarters for a higher price in most cases? What does that have to do with how she conducts herself and treats her man in a relationship who's a goddamn Hispanic laborer who's hopping on a truck going somewhere to do some carpentry work somewhere for relatively basic wages? What does that have to do with how she's going to conduct herself in a relationship with this man that she's actually with? That's why I say resting in your femininity is a buzzword, something to just basically say there aren't enough Black male-owned businesses to where the overall collective group of Black women are justified in acting out of pocket, whereas the fact of the matter, and I'll pull up the data and prove this, the amount of Hispanic-owned businesses, if you took all of them, well, I'll just start with Black. And this is a very sad stat. This is a very sad stat. I take no joy in saying this. The amount of Black-owned businesses, they could only employ 5%. 5% of the total Black population. That is bad. That is horrible. That is a crime. When it comes to Hispanic business, because keep in mind, she's walking around with a camera just looking at businesses saying, look at this meat. I haven't played the rest of the tape. Look at this meat market here. This is a Hispanic meat market. Look what they're doing. Look what they're building for their women. The totality of Hispanic-owned businesses. You want to know how many people they can employ? How many of Hispanic people that they can employ? 8%. They can employ 8% of their people. Yet she's walking around with a cell phone saying, look at this business right here. Look at this Hispanic meat market. Look how these women are allowed to rest in their femininity, because these men who are capitalists, no doubt, turning a profit, making money. And when I say these men, I'm talking about a small percentage of very small percentage, because black people have this idea that when black people own a business, that it's owned by all black people. They have this idea that when Hispanic people own a business, it's owned by all of them. No, it's probably 2 or 3, perhaps 1, but 2 or 3 at most, who got together, put up some money, and opened up a business. They got their family in there slaving, working for free, and they're turning a profit. They're turning a profit. This is capitalism. This isn't building for their women. Of the community of roughly 5,000 women in the city or general area, that they're not benefiting off of that. They just got a closer travel, a closer commute to the grocery store to buy some damn chicken leg quarters. That's it. That's the overall net profit that the average Hispanic woman on the ground gets from that business. Now, those who happen to have the privilege of being married to the small percentage of men who actually own a business like that, if the business is thriving and successful and doing well, those women will get to benefit from it. The women who are actually married to the men who own it. But those women who are married to the men who own it, are they sitting on a patio sipping lemonade? No, you saw them back in the back slaving, preparing food. You saw them in the back working. They are working. You're looking at business ownership. And I've owned a business. And I was married. We owned a clothing store. I put a lot of money into that, put a lot of sweat, labor, equity, and all of that, sweat equity, as they call it, into that, got it set up, put the floor down, set up the shelves, the cabinets, did a lot of work, to get the thing going, I don't think that raised the overall, because I owned a clothing store that served black people. I don't think that raised the overall level of femininity for the average black woman in the general area. Just like a Hispanic meat market doesn't raise the overall level of femininity in that general area. So when she's walking out of there saying, you see how these women can rest in their femininity because they got a closer walk to a meat market, or in the case when I owned the clothing store, when me and my ex-wife owned the clothing store, they had a closer walk to go buy some clothes. Did that help them rest in their femininity? It's still some nonsense. It's still, he said, Mike said, still got divorced. Oh, don't get me started in that. But either way, it is a nonsensical argument. When they say building for their women, that wasn't a matter of me building for the collective of black women when we were trying to get that store going and getting it off the ground and everything. That wasn't building for the collective of black women. That wasn't building for the women. That was trying to be a capitalist, trying to make some money. If anything, it was trying to make some money. If anything, it was trying to make some money off of women. Building for them and me making money off of them versus them paying money to some white-owned clothing store that increases their femininity. That means that they're going to go home to their man. They're going to go home to their man and act a little more decent in their relationships and their interactions with him, because the clothes that they bought them from a black man that day. Like that's the logical flaw in that whole argument. And Christian Hutchinson just summed up what I said right there. Thank you, Christian. He says, I was building for my woman. Exactly. Christian owns a bunch of properties. When he's buying these houses, he's renting them out. He's I don't think he's in the business of fixing them up and selling them. But some people flip houses. When you're doing that, or when you're buying houses, if you fix them up a little bit so you can rent them out and charge a certain price in the rent, you're not doing that for the community. You're not doing that to provide better housing for the women of your community. No. You're doing that because you're a capitalist trying to make some money in this whole American system. That's the only thing you're concerned about there. That's the only thing you're concerned about there. Now, if a young couple just got married, is renting out a nice little place from you, okay, then that's cool. That's cool. But if they don't pay their rent, we know Christian will run their ass out of there. I already told the story, played the clips of when he put a single mother out on the streets. That's in my shorts. When you had to go over. Christian be over there going Suge Knight with a baseball bat on him. But that's the goofiness of all of this. That's the goofiness of all of this. Christian, having a $2 million net worth in properties that he owns, that's not building for a collective group of women around him. That's him being a capitalist trying to make some money. The only benefit that another woman can get who's in proximity is if she's renting from him. And even then, she has to pay to play, basically. Just like women who went in that meat market, they had to go in and pay more money than what they'll pay at the larger supermarket. So again, if the argument, and keep in mind, it does need to, more black people, specifically black men, need to own more businesses. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that at all. I'm just simply saying, how does that translate to the overall collective group of women resting in their femininity, whatever the hell that means? If I'm with my woman and we're together, how she conducts herself in my house is how she conducts herself in my house. Whether she look out the window and she see Wakanda or United States of America, Chicago, Baghdad, whatever is going on around us, okay, that's one thing. How she conducts herself in my house is another thing. So to say that the look of the community and how many businesses are owned by the man in the community has a bearing on how a woman is going to conduct herself in an interpersonal relationship with the man that she qualifies for is bullshit, because the majority of women in that community where this woman is claiming there are so many businesses, they're going to conduct themselves however they conduct themselves in a one-to-one relationship with the individual man that they qualify for. That's typically how it works. There's a such thing as a woman being a winner and getting with the winner who created a business that turned into a chain, and then they're rich, and then that particular woman may be on that patio that I talked about, sipping lemonade under an umbrella on a hot sunny day. She may win the game and get to that point, but the majority don't. The majority don't.
See, we don't want to talk about it. Y'all see how they women able to rest in their femininity? See, we know why y'all coming over to their neighborhoods, because they men did their job. They men provided for their women. Let's keep going.
And hold on. Their men did their job. Their men provided for their women. Let's look at something real quick. Keep in mind, more black businesses is important. I'm not denying that. Not denying that in the least bit. But it's one thing to walk around with a cell phone. I want to make that bigger for you. Hold on. It's probably big as it's going to get. Hopefully I can see that. It's one thing to walk around with a cell phone saying, look at this business, look at that business. It's a whole nother thing to actually look at some data. Man, get out of there, Freedman's Journal. It's a whole nother thing to actually look at some data. As you can see right there, these Hispanic men are here at the bottom. I'm trying to make it as big as I can for you. these Hispanic men who did their job, Hispanics overall in general, hopefully I can just see that, they can create Hispanics in general, I guess male and female, can create 2.9 million jobs. They could employ 8% of working age adults, 8% of working age adults, and pay them $11,700 a year. So her argument, when you take away all the fluff and the feathers, she's kissing the ass of men, saying that they did their job because they can employ 8%. 8% of 8% of all working age Hispanic adults. Black people, we can employ 5% of all working age Black adults. That is bad. That is shitty. That is piss poor. But if we're talking about the difference, because this is really what their argument breaks down to. If we're talking about the sheer difference in how Hispanic and Latino women conduct themselves compared to how Black women conduct themselves, if they're saying that difference is the building that goes on, we're talking about that right there, being able to employ 8% of their total people versus 5%, and them able to pay each working age adult $11,000 a year. Now, even when we go up further and we look at white people, it's 39%, of working age adults. But that's that. But hold on. But here's the interesting part. There's a lot of some Black people. Damn, I can't make that. A lot of Black people don't look at it like that. That $11.6 trillion, that is in the hands of a very, very small percentage of 1%. That's in the hands of 1%. Everybody else got a job. Even where it say they can give every working age white adult $80,000 a year. Yeah, they can, but they don't. That money is hoarded and used to make more money by a very small percentage of people. By a very small percentage of people who aren't building for their women. They're building to be bigger, better billionaires. That's what that very small percentage is doing. So just the whole full totality of what she's saying logically and statistically makes no sense about this whole resting in femininity thing. Now, I'm covering this because I do like to pick apart bullshit arguments, and this is one that's been brewing for a minute. And somebody sent me this video, so I'm reacting to it. Goddamn. Okay. I don't think no dollar amount, no patios with umbrellas on a sunny day and lemonade could make this woman present femininely. I don't. I think femininity has left the room. Femininity has left the building. I don't think it's happening. Regardless, people come to conclusions for emotional reasons, and then they circle back and try to make a logical reason for their thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. It's been proven that people do that. Somebody will make a purchase for an emotional reason and then will circle back and try to make a logical reason why they needed to do it, but they really just did it for personal emotional reasons. So I think she has her own, this is me just psychoanalyzing, I think she has her own emotional personal reasons as to why she's not feminine. She has her own reasons why she's not feminine. That's just is what it is. It's who she is. But she's trying to rework and reconstruct logical reasons as to why she's not feminine. That is essentially what happens a lot here. And that's where the whole concept of, as you said, they're allowed to rest in their femininity. That's where the whole concept of resting in one's said femininity comes from.
This busy intersection. You see what you got? Chinese herbs. Y'all see all that? You go across the street over there in that strip bar right there. Asian, 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 Asian.
Asians are doing good per their population percentage. Can't take nothing away from the Asians. They are a really smart, properly cultured people. They got the highest rates of family formation. Their kids on average spend the most hours doing homework. We've broken down that data. The Asians are doing it right and are kicking ass. Can't take nothing away from the Asians.
Asian, Asian, Hispanic, Asian. Y'all see this? Cuban food truck. Cuban food truck.
Cuban food truck? Like, I mean, okay, at this point, when you're praising food trucks, at that point, anything that another group of men are doing, you're going to praise it. I mean, a food truck, like what? Cuban food truck? Like, goddamn. Like a food truck, it takes about, I'll say maybe $15,000-$20,000 to get in the game on a food truck business. There's food. I just bought barbecue from a from a black-owned food truck. I do it all the time. They be setting up in little parking lots, close to my house. I go in, I go buy some. I need to get off the poke, but I go in and buy some rib tips and stuff like that. But yeah, the food trucks are in abundance. If Negroes can't do nothing, they get the food trucks right. Now, come on now, like cut it out. Cut it out. Cuban food truck. You gonna praise a Cuban food truck.
They may not have no full community, but you can damn well see where their men built a sense of community on American soil for their women.
They built a Cuban food truck to make money. Just like the brothers who I bought barbecue from very recently, they put together a food truck to sell barbecue to make money. They didn't do it for the collective of black women. They did it to make money. And the black women and black people going in there to buy barbecue from a black-owned food truck does not increase the level of femininity in the women in the community, because a black-owned food truck is where they bought barbecue from that day. This is a nonsensical argument when she's saying that these women can rest in their femininity because food trucks. That's literally the argument that they're making. And like I said before, is an attempt to try to get black men as a group to think less of ourselves so we will accept less from them. Kevin C, and I see the other super chat up there. Kevin C says most Asian, Hispanic, and white women have husbands. Yes, typically when you have a husband, the husband is building for you. He's not building for the outside group of women. He's building and we're doing what he has to do to make money for his family. That is typically how it works, but the majority of them work for someone else. That 11.6 trillion dollars of business earnings or wealth that I showed that white people own. And when I say white people, I'm talking about 1% of the 1%. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos having a net worth of, hell, he damn near at $1 trillion if he not there already. he damn near at $1 trillion. It's a lot of people working in warehouses, a lot of white people, black and Hispanic people working in warehouses, making $17 an hour while he's closing in on $1 trillion. That's how it works. People working for him making $25 an hour to take men doing that to take care of their woman. That's how it works. It's typically 1-to-1. But if you grow a business big enough, you can employ a lot of people, but those employees are employees. They get a wage. They get a wage. They don't get a share in your wealth. Only the people directly connected to that person gets a actual share in the wealth.
Y'all want to sit up there and clout chase and quote Kevin Samuels when he didn't have shit neither.
Kevin Samuels died a verified millionaire. And meanwhile, you just praised a Cuban food truck saying these men are on their job because they have a food truck. You see how that goes back to when the Wigdit one that I that y'all know I'm talking about. The Wigdit one says a white guy who delivers pizzas for Domino's has more power than Robert Smith. That lets you know the mindset and overall level of thinking and how a lot of them think about black men, to where you could be a black man at the peak, at the highest of heights, worth $8 billion. If you look up his recent net worth, Robert Smith, $8 billion. Somebody delivering pizzas for Domino's, in the mind of some black women, have more power than Robert Smith. Let that sink in. She's criticizing Kevin Samuels, who died a verified millionaire. A verified millionaire. While simultaneously praising some other man who saved up his life savings and spent $15,000 to $20,000 on a food truck.
We see why y'all love him, because he was very similar to many of y'all in our community. Got a whole bunch of damn mouth, but ain't got shit to show for it. Yeah, we get it. This Wells Fargo that I work at, the banker's Asian. The general manager.
And just for the record, y'all can't see it, but it says at the bottom, correction, I don't work for Wells Fargo. I bank there. So she's just basically saying she banks at Wells Fargo. And it's Asian people that work
Asian.
there.
The tellers, Asian. I'm sorry. One of the managers that I'm talked to, he's Hispanic. You look over there.
She just praised a Hispanic manager. That is an employee. That is a supervisor. That is the person who's over the bank tellers. That is a middle management job working for somebody else. The exact same position that they would say that you're conquered for taking, that same position that she's praising some Hispanic dude for taking.
Asian. You go down there, Asian. And I ain't even gonna do y'all too bad and go across the bridge over to Tampa and show y'all these big, huge Hispanic grocery stores they build.
Okay, I don't mean to do this, and I'm just gonna do this one time and one time only. Her or Hope Gazelle, which one looks more like a man? Never mind. I attack ideas and not people. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
All these Hispanic towns they building. So for all y'all who in my comment section fighting for y'all life, talking about old black men, let's go ahead and say that when it come down to it, for the past 40 to 45 years, y'all.
All right. That's enough of that. We're gonna leave that one right there. All right, Chris. All right, Christian Hutchinson, you said you got to roll at 12. I'm gonna drop you the link right now because you sent me something. It was very stat and data. It was so many it was too statty for me. It was too statty. I want you to come up and explain what you sent me. So the link is in the chat for Christian Hutchinson. I'll open it up later for more people. Thank you, Kevin C, for that super chat. And thank you, car designer Chris. Says every dope man's woman has her own car wash or clothing store in Detroit. Uh-oh, get out of there. Those dudes get those dudes would get a Cardi B chick, a Cardi B like chick, LOL. mm, mm. Cut it out. Cut it out, cut it out. You know, I don't condone drug dealing, but god damn it, if you're gonna do it, that is the way to go. Flip that damn money into something legal. I mean, hell, we saw Breaking Bad. Even though he had so much meth, they couldn't make enough car washes. She ran the numbers and said and told him that they're going to be laundering money into infinity, basically, because the car wash just can't make that much money. But we got Christian Hutchinson in the building. What's going on? Christian Hutchinson quite often is my my data man. He always sending me data that I sometimes understand. I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. Give me a hot second here. Give me a hot second here. But how you doing today? How you doing today?
Doing fine. Just I actually pulled these numbers together for Obsidian for something else, and that's why I had it.
Okay. Oh snap! Now I'm having. Oh wait, no. See, I'm doing it wrong. I apologize. Should have had it ready to go, but I'm doing it all wrong because I didn't download it. I tried to just do it right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now it's downloading, and it should be pulling up. But just give us a little teaser trailer of what these numbers are about.
Yes. So basically, what I did was based on the census data. So everyone knows that in the census data that there's two things we know about based on various studies that came out the last couple of years, that women consider men their economic equal until they're 30%, until they make 30% more than them. Okay. And then men, when you compare their what they make compared to their spouses, the general spread between married men and married women is between 49 and 52%. So what I did was I put together a spreadsheet of based on national data on income up to $200,000 for men, and then I did a 30% and 50% spread for women. So I called the marriage, like what a married man can afford. If you make this much, this is how much wife you can afford. And if you're, and then how much, if you're dating, this is what you need to be at to be dating. And so then I put in what that income percentile was for each person, just overall, not broken down by gender, but what that income percentile would be, what the combined household income would be, what the house would look like that they could be able to buy and afford, and then what city would that look like in major black cities. I did Detroit, Chicago, Philly, Dallas, Miami, Atlanta, in New York City.
Holy shit. That was a mouthful and was pretty damn impressive.
It wasn't hard.
It sounds like it. But all right, here's the deal. Let me move that where it says help us reach our goal. Take that down so we can see the data a little better. Shout out to V Scott in the building. Says LOL Christian Statman Hutchinson. Yeah.
So you guys probably wonder, why does he look at stuff like this? Because when I'm targeting rental properties, this is the type of stuff I'm looking at in terms of how much money do people make in certain areas and certain jobs and stuff like that. Because I try to make my decisions not only with data, but also with things I can see with my eyes on the ground. So this is, what tab is that? I have to go down to there's a tab at the lower left. Like what city is this?
Oh, Detroit.
This is Detroit. Okay. We can do
Wait,
Detroit.
no, no, that's Detroit. That was
it's Detroit.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll do Detroit. So for instance, so if we look at the top one, we say the marriage standard is 50%. This is $200,000 across the United States. A man who makes $200,000, okay, he will be in the 96th percentile of all earners in the United States. That means basically he can afford a female who makes up to $133,000.
Okay, well, hold on. Back up and define what do you mean by afford a female? Because last I checked, these chicks ain't, they're not for sale. I've tried to buy some before. They told me it
Ba-
didn't work like that.
Basically, if you go off the standard of you have to make between 49 and 52%, the standard in the U.S. is when you compare a male's wages to his female counterpart in the marriage, they make between 49 and 52% more than her.
Uh-huh.
So this is so if you're a guy who makes $200,000, your wife in reality is now. I imagine these numbers get flatter as you go up the income scale, but
Yeah.
these in reality, but this is just the general rule of thumb, right? Especially when you're in the middle income areas, when you're in like
Mm-hmm.
that 80-50 range, that 90-65 range. Those really hold true hard, because as you get on the extremes, because you're up in the 94th percentile, you're on the tail end of the bell curve, right? It's really extreme. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, if you look at the female percentage, so if you say you combine those household incomes, go to the line 3.
Right. Hold on.
Like no, like you're going to see the line 3 on your thing.
No.
So if you have a household income of $333,000, that puts you in the 96th percentile in all of the United States. Okay. And then what happens is with that 333, that's a house listing. This is what that house would look like, that what you could afford at $333,000 of household income. And with the Troy hyperlink, that will show you what this profile of that city in terms of what the amenities and what the poverty, crime rate, all that stuff within that city is. On the far right hand side, you're going to see the household, the top table. You scroll up.
All right, hold on. Oh man, this is good. This is okay. Where am I going now? I started doing my own thing. All right,
Yeah.
where am I going?
If you scroll all the way to the right, this is the household income by race. So these are all
Mm-hmm.
the various races. This is the median household income by
Right.
race. Okay. The next one down is median household income by race and gender.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, if you look at black people, it's actually really funny. The black household income is
Yep.
actually lower than
That's
men and women. Now these the time frames of this data collection is done differently. Like I believe the black household income was collected in 2019 or 2020, because that's the most recent data available. While compared to the people like gender and race, that was last collected, I believe, in Q2 of this year.
mm-hmm. Okay.
So
This is what jumped out. I mean, you probably didn't come here to point this out,
yeah,
but this is what jumped out to me. And when you look at household income, and a household is defined as a couple living together, married, essentially.
yeah. Well, a household is just a single address with people in it. So technically, if me and you had an apartment, that would be a household income. But if like we were in like a boarding house or a dorm, that would be different.
All right, this is where I'm confused. Okay. Um, Hispanic household, okay, 55,000. All right.
Yep.
Um, Hispanic men and Hispanic women, okay, 46,000 down. 46,000 for Hispanic men, 40,000 for Hispanic women. All right. Now let's look at this. Black household, 46,000. Now, black men, 50,000. Like I always point out,
Yep.
more than Hispanic men.
Yep.
Black women, 47,000,
Yep.
more than Hispanic women.
Yep.
But their overall household income is higher. But
Yeah.
when you're broken up individual, so long story short, is it that factor of where they're making less, but their overall household income is higher because they're two
Married.
people. There's two people in the household more times than not. Is that's
Yeah. Basically, yes.
that's what jumped off the page at me.
Yes.
Yeah. So all right. So okay. All right. That's what what I was that's what I was trying to get at there. But all right. All right. What damn, you were saying a lot of good stuff and I got
Yeah. So let's
thrown
scroll.
off.
Let's scroll down. Scroll all the way back to the left, and then let's go down. All the way to the left, and then go down. There. All the way to the left now.
Uh,
All right, so now we're going to talk about metro area. So in the Detroit metro area, the average household in line 23 and 24. The average household income in Metro Detroit, this isn't just a city Detroit, so this is Metro Detroit, is $98,990, right? That's the average household income. The 25th percentile is $33,000. The 50th percentile or median is $67,800.
Oh,
Almost,
okay, I see.
right? Almost $68,000. The 75th percentile is 131. The 90th.
Wait, hold on. What is this? What is this 67,000 right there?
That's the median. That's in Metro Detroit. So that's people who live in Wayne, Oakland, Macomb counties. That's just like everybody who lives in the MSA, right?
Yeah, see that average and median, that always throws me off. So, okay, the average household income in Metro Detroit, you're saying is 98,000?
Yep, 99,000. So that means
Oh yeah,
that means so averages are skewed by extremes. So that means people who make $2 million are going to pull up the average, while the median is the middle. So when you line everybody up, this is the middle number. So the people always go with
Yes, better to always go with the median then. Okay, so the median is 67,000.
68,000.
And that will put, I mean, well, you and you're rounding up. All right. But okay, so the median is 68,000, and that puts you in the 50th percentile. So that's the middle for a household, and 75th percentile for a household. And keep in mind, household, that's typically not talking about just what an individual is earning, because the 75th percentile, I think it will have you higher in most cases. You're making 131,000. I mean, it wouldn't be as high, but 90th percentile for a household is now. Hold on, is this median right here?
No. The median would be 50th percentile. 75th percentile is the top 25% of households. The 90th percentile is typically when you see what's on TV. This is what they're actually, when you see like your average TV sitcom, this is what they're actually displaying. Is a 90th percentile and higher. Yeah. Then you have the 99th percentile, the 99%. So these are the 1%ers. Yep. And there's 4.5 million people in the area.
Right. Interesting.
So what happens is when you start looking at these numbers, so if you scroll up to the top table, the married table, go to the top. Let's say you're a guy. So let's go to line 6.
Okay, line 6.
Yep, scroll all the way to the left. So this is a guy who makes $110,000, right? A guy who makes $110,000. He's in the 86th percentile.
Wait, hold on, my bad.
Yep, no problem. He's in the 86th percentile of all earners in the United States. His wife is probably going to make $73,000. Okay, and funny enough, I can say that's pretty accurate to what my household makeup was at one point. Okay. So then let's keep scrolling. Now let's go to.
Wait, hold on. This is average right here. Average and not median, or no?
No. This is just like, this is an earner. This is straight. If you make $200,000 in the U.S., you're in the.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. So let's scroll over to column D. So let's say your wife makes $73,000, or anyone makes $73,000. You're in the 73rd percentile. That gives you a household income of $183,000. Click on the 183,000. Click on that. Yep. Say okay. It's going to take you. This is the house that you can afford at $183,000. If this is what your family makes.
Can y'all see that?
It's going to pop. It probably did come up into another screen, maybe.
Yeah, it came up into another. I can see it, but it's probably in a whole nother window where you guys can't see it.
Can you show? You only can share a screen, or can you share windows?
I normally, just for the sake of not exposing myself, only share very specific windows. I don't like to do a full screen share.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want to, I don't know what's going to pop up.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so I'll hold on. I'll risk myself right now and do it. Give me a second. All right, let's go. And I've literally never did a share entire screen. I don't know what I'm doing here. This is new territory because I don't
Okay.
believe in sharing the entire screen. All right, so let's go here. Okay, so now where's this damn okay, I'll just click on it again. So if I click right there,
Yep.
boom, there it is. All right.
To come up? Not up yet.
Oh, y'all can't see that? Oh, y'all should be seeing this because I'm seeing it. Oh, y'all literally. Okay. All right. So I'll do it like this. I'll do it like this. I'll do it this way.
Okay. Yep. That's it. That's.
Oh, you see it? Oh,
I just
wait.
saw it just really quickly.
How? I'm not even sharing.
No, I saw it just real quickly. I saw the listing just very quickly, and then you went away.
All right. Let me find the listing. Don't. Come on. Now it don't want to pop up at all. But shit, why isn't that there? I'm completely bombing this thing for you.
No problem. Yeah. So if you want, you can go to, and I'm gonna have to jump off here, but I can come back. I can show you other cities. So funny enough, Philadelphia's 1%ers are lower than Detroit's. Dallas has the highest 1%ers. You have to make like $900,000 to be a 1%er in Dallas.
Damn.
DC, you had to be up at like 765. New York was fairly low. I think they were in the high fives or low sixes to be a 1%er. But New York has 19.5 million people. So there's a lot of people not making money there too.
Shit. Hold on. My admin is saying that you guys saw it, but you said if you're saying they saw it because you added it, then add it. Yeah, if we struggling and you figured out a way to make it happen, make it happen. I don't know how. Okay, hold on. And I know you said you got to go. I think okay, we're gonna give it one more go. One more go. Present screen. Let's do. Oh, right there. All right. All right. So this is at that 183,000. This is what yours says. This is what kind of the amount of house. Now I can't even find the damn window again to make it.
You can just scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I would love to. Hold on. Why can't I see? It's in a whole nother window. Oh wait, hold on.
We can see it on the screen.
I know, but this is like I said, I'm in new territory because I never do an entire screen share, so I don't even know.
No, MS New York, what they do, New York Metro. So what happens is people don't define markets by city proper because that's not really true of what the economic area is. New York City, its metro area encompasses 19.5 million people because they consider like Jersey City's a part of the New York Metro. It's an MSA. Google MSAs. This is standard economic analysis. So all those areas around New York City are also a part of the New York metro area because realistically people live and work and they contribute to the local economy. That's how things are measured in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I apologize because I'm trying
I got to
yeah.
drop.
You got to roll. So, all right. Yeah. Go ahead and roll, and I'll
I'll be
I'll
back in like an
play
hour or
around.
something like
That's
that.
like the only thing in StreamYard that I don't know how to do. I never do a full screen share out of fear of doxing myself. Not doxing, but y'all seeing I don't want y'all to see a window that I had up that from even though I really don't do I don't normally use my cell phone for all the extracurricular activity, but just in case I don't be wanting to out myself. so yeah, so it was weird. It was Windows opened up, I couldn't find it. It popped up and it showed up in the StreamYard, but I could not figure out where it was at on my was it down? Okay. All right. That's something I gotta figure out later. That's something I gotta yeah, man. You already know. But we are joined by Kevin C. What's going on?
Hey, hello. Good morning to you, Bernard, man.
Morning.
And I'm not laughing at you. I'm just kind of laughing at the struggle of getting through the photo up. But you did get it up, and we kind of got an idea. I was just going to ask you to describe the house. I would have just described the house, but that was good. And good on you. And for Chris, he's your stat guy, right? Bringing in that data.
He delivers a lot of stats. Emails me a lot of stats. Yeah.
Yeah, so I always love it when black men get together and, intelligent, capable, productive black men get together and they, share their talents. He's kind of the quant guy. Some people they're good at production, others are good at media. Some guys are the engineers. You have the politicians. You have the history guys. You have the, just everybody who bringing the construction guys. So we have enough black men who are talented to bring all of that stuff together to actually do what it is we're supposed to be doing as black men, which is good.
Yeah.
And it's always good when I see that. But I
absolutely.
So, shout out to you, shout out to Chris, and then hello to everybody else in the chat. And I'm not going to stay up very long, but when I see those videos of that woman, she's running around, videoing this, talking about, look at what the women in this community can do. They get to shop at a nice store and do this and do that, and all this other stuff. I'm like, look, get a husband, man, if that's what you want. It's always a bad faith argument or discussion or accusations and this, that, and the third. When you start asking basic questions, ma'am, do you have a husband? And that'll end the discussion right there. Because then then the response is, well, because husbands built for families. They do that for their wives. They do that for their kids. They don't have any issues or problems with doing that. So, and that's why I threw that in the chat, that most Asians, white women, the Hispanic women, even some black women, not all of them, or not a lot, because there's only 26% of black women that are married. But the women who are married generally are not complaining about men not doing anything for them. That's actually one of the reasons you get married. So one of the principal reasons is, so if you're going to produce kids and you want to be a mother, then you produce kids within the context and construct of marriage. And then the other part of it too is that's one of the specified tasks. One of the other implied tasks is, if you're a woman married to a man, the expectation is for you as that man to improve her life, make it better. Women are not going to marry you so they can downgrade their life. They're marrying you to actually, one, produce children. The other is to actually upgrade and improve their life. And if you're talking about building communities, resting in your femininity and doing all this other stuff and all the other little buzzwords that these women run around talking about all over mainstream media, the internet, social media, and their little locker rooms or their little girl chats and all this other stuff. If you're not married, then I'm not sure how you're planning on doing that. Get a husband first, produce those kids, and then raise those kids with your husband and watch him build a family and wealth and all the other stuff that you're talking about. That's how it works.
What a lot of them are trying to do, and I was going to get into this. What they want to do when they talk about communities being built, they're not talking about it from the perspective that you're talking about, where man, woman, child, and they get together. They things get built, and basically they want the community to basically outsource husband. Basically they want the collective group of the community, like, for example, when she's saying, look what these women got, look what exists in this community, there's a meat market. She is they want the overall collective of men to basically do things to make the whole the community as a whole look better and feel better and be more comfortable and cozy, but not realizing that that the type of comfort and coziness that comes, that a woman gets in respect to a man is normally with the man that she's actually with, not some collective group of men who separately, independently did something for the collective group of women. Like that's typically not how it goes, but that's how they want to spin it. But Sir Tyson in the building says you need your ass kicked for that thumbnail, Bernie. Hey, I was trying to find a worse one. I was trying to find one. It was
so you're being facetious with your thumbnail.
Yeah. It was
I thought you were being a bit serious. I take people kind of at face value on some things, but I understand that there's times for humor.
No. Yeah, no. It's always a splash of humor in the thumbnails.
Okay.
But no, it was one where it was this fat Asian chick who like looked like she was holding some popcorn, but she fell asleep. But look like she had popcorn in her mouth, like it was like I was going to use one of those. Going to use one of those, but since it's black women who make the resting in your femininity argument, it wouldn't have hit the same for how that, because I was trying to find one with a black woman that was doing that, basically. Long story short,
I got you. I guess that soft girl era is not working for these women, I suppose.
Yeah.
How long did that last? About a week? What we got on that? How long was the record? Is that a record? Soft girl era.
I think they got like 2 weeks out of it. I don't know, but okay, all right. Modern day problems in the building. He says Lizzo-sized black woman on the thumbnail. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't generally have
these. Real quick. Paul Game in the building says resting in her dinner-ninity. And car designer Chris in the building says it was a delay. Put it back up. Yeah, I could figure it out because I don't do entire. That was my first time ever sharing the entire screen in the control. It's just a little different, and for some reason that thing that popped up, I couldn't find it down there at the bottom of the screen with the icons that are options down there. I couldn't, for some reason I could not find it, and it just is what it is. It was just a botched attempt. But anyway, Theo, who's been a member for a long time, I don't know why it's saying Theo F became a member. You've been a member, but I don't know. Maybe he just renewed it. That happens sometimes. But all right. Well, shout out to Theo either way. Shout out to Theo. But go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah. Hey. So I generally ignore the chat, but I'll go ahead and respond to this if you didn't bring it up just yet. Somebody talked about a guy named Cole Steele. He says marriage isn't about upgrading a woman's life. It's about the wife being the husband's assistant, and he's absolutely right. He's spot on with that. The problem is this, and I'm not even saying it's a problem. Again, specified task, right? So the specified task in there is being the husband's assistant, housekeeping, and rearing the children if she doesn't work. That's a specified task. The implied task is you're going to make her life better. That's an implied task. Women aren't going to tell you this. They're not going to talk about, I would like the house and the cars and the driveway and the picket fence and a nice wardrobe and, good food to eat and then the occasional, trip every few months. The short trip and then I call them like the short mini trips and then the really long trip or something like that. They're not going to say all of that, but that's implied. They're expecting you to upgrade their life. And that's one of the reasons that women divorce out of dissatisfaction, because they married you and then their life either stayed the same or it got worse. So if their life is either staying the same or it got worse, then what are they marrying you for? Outside of producing kids.
But the thing is that their life didn't stay the same because they went from not having a family to having a family. So I mean, Cole Steele is right in the sense that, for just pointing out the flaw in there, is that if marriage is just supposed to be just some feel good come up, then it's like then they're not doing it right. The benefit of being married was having a family, having children, man, woman, child. That was the benefit from it. In the event, if y'all could. And I mean, it's easier to build and generate wealth if y'all are working together, if y'all got a family, or he's taking care of things outside the home, you're taking care of things in home, or both of y'all are working together. Both of y'all are working to build it up. Like that's definitely the benefit. But no, I put that in the category of a woman divorcing a man for a frivolous reason.
Absolutely.
If they got married and then 10 years went by and she's not on that patio sipping lemonade under an umbrella on a hot sunny day. If she's not there, then now she wants to leave him because she she bet on a horse that she thought was going to win and is not winning like she thought. So now she's out. Now she's breaking up a family. No, that
well, see,
I can't.
But men look at it that way. We see it for the pragmatic purposes, marriage for the pragmatic reasons that it exists and why we're doing it. Because one of the reasons, obviously, is to, for other reasons, but one of the main reasons is to produce children and raise those children to adulthood within the construct of a stable 2-parent home. And when a woman marries you, what she's saying is the money that you're making now and what you might make in the future, I'm willing to agree to, whatever that is. She has no idea what that's going to be. Now, there's an expectation that you're probably going to do better, but if you don't, then she has to ride it basically at whatever it is she gets. And
at that point,
a lot of women when they're looking for that upgrade.
No, at that point, if the upgrade never happens, she should accept the consolation prize of having a family and raising her children in a 2-parent household.
Absolutely, that is a prize. You're right.
Yeah, that's a pretty good consolation prize that women for years were happy with. But now it's like if it don't look like he got his money popping by X number of years, then I'm out. And so that is so I will always stand on that's nonsense. But,
absolutely. And I'll go back to my original point, which is when women start talking about this, ask them if they have a husband, and if they don't have a husband, then we can end the conversation right there, because that's really what she's talking about. The idea that random men are going to build for a random confederation of loose women and children and not for their own spouse and specific children is ridiculous. And it's as if that's what they're looking for. And no intelligent man, no hardworking, responsible, pragmatic black man is going to get up every day, bust his behind for a bunch of women and children. And he has no idea what they're doing. He has no responsibility to them whatsoever. And they can't answer to them. Those women and the children don't answer to him in any way. And yet somehow a community is supposed to magically and spontaneously appear, and everybody's supposed to just be living nice and wonderful life. That's not how it works. It doesn't burn that clean. It's never going to burn that clean. Get a husband first, make the kids, and then build from there. You do that, we can have a conversation. If you're not willing to do that, then we're done right there. And they'll do it with women who want to be a part of that. That's how it goes. And that's really how we need to talk to women about this. And we got to be, say it with our chest with everything else that we do. That's how leaders talk. When women say they want leadership, that's actually what leadership is. Okay, you want that? Get a husband. That's how it goes.
They want the leadership, but they say, they'll say all the time the man is supposed to be the leader, but that turns into another one of those things that they only conveniently say, because if they say the man is supposed to be a leader, then they would, accept the general leadership. Like for example, what you just said right there, they would reject the premise on that. they wouldn't accept that. They basically would not accept that, even though you're basically saying that, okay, I'm the leader. This is what I say should happen. This is what men are saying it should happen. This is how it should go. Okay, but then they got a problem with that, which means that they not really intent on following. They're intent on making gaslighting arguments and basically doing like the chick in the video, saying that they can't, making those arguments they can't be feminine because there's not enough meat stores and food trucks. Like basically that's essentially the argument that ultimately came down the pipeline
because they probably have the situation where it's them and a loose confederation of children and no husband. That's probably a better argument for their lack of femininity versus the fact that there's no meat market. That would be my response. And then the other thing too is, well, men are supposed to be the leaders. Well, then show me your leader. Show me your husband. If you don't have one, then again, we can end the conversation right there. Like we gotta start talking to the women in a more flat, pronounced, and just direct manner. We got to start pushing back on some of the things that they say, because we
always push back on what they say. This whole stream was about pushing back on some bullshit that they say. But no, I hear what you're saying on just that short to the point that you're making right there. I understand what you're saying right there. Yeah. That was always my concern with the promotion of high value concept. Bleed from the wallet. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying right there. He said that was always my concern with the promotion of high value concept. Bleed from the wallet. Yeah, some people ran with that Some people ran with that to an extreme. If you really actually, people who actually watch Kevin Samuels' show realized and understood that in most cases, what he was talking about when he was talking about a high value man, most chicks who called into the show didn't qualify for it, and he basically walked them down from the ledge and then had a normal conversation with them about reality and what they do actually qualify for. In most cases, it was a working class man, and they ass would have to work as well and make it work together versus the, so yeah. And he argued that working class man deserves all your utmost respect, especially if you're showing your ass up overweight with somebody else's kids. So I mean, so yeah,
you lose
that
points.
was,
you start losing points.
yeah. So that was truly the conversation. The high value man was just a shiny object that got women to come in the door, so he can basically debate manosphere talking points with them. So I don't even blame Kevin Samuels for people looking at it just strictly on some, oh man, he has to make this much in order to get respect from a woman. Like, no, I mean, that wasn't the message. Now, making a certain amount of money do get you more respect, but that wasn't to me, that wasn't just a flat message that only men who make X amount of dollars deserve respect. No. But Christian Hutchinson in the building says, this is why I compiled the stats. I wanted to show what people's actual earnings are, how small the actual upper income household poor really is. And thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Household pool.
I'm sorry, pool. Yeah. Okay, I told you my eyes are failing me. I'm gonna be on here with glasses one of these days.
Yeah, sometimes you read ahead. I've kind of noticed that with you. You read ahead and then you say stuff and then you got to go back and correct it. I know. That's a habit that I do when I'm reading silently and I'm trying to hurry up and get done. It's like my eyes will skip over. Like I can see it, but then I will skip certain words. My mind read it, but then sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. And I'm like, okay, let me go back and make sure that made sense. So I have issues. We're all a work in progress, man. But you're good. You're good. We love you, man.
No.
And I'll say one more thing. I know do you have more super chats?
Oh no, that was it.
I'll say one more thing. So for women really have an advantage early on in life, somewhere between ages 18 to 25, it's a lot easier for them to get a husband and a good one too. And the type of husband that they're looking for. When you wait too late to make it happen, then you get the women on the screen. You get what the women the type of woman that you profiled. She's like at 30 or over 30. She's probably 30 plus. Never been married.
She looked all of 40 to me.
Okay, well, she's over 30, right? But she's talking about all of this building, developing, and providing, and whatever, and the protection, yada, and all that other stuff. And all of the regular bullet comments that bullet point comments and talking points that we hear. And the thing is that she could have been married somewhere between 18 to 25 and already had all of that stuff. She could have been that nice woman shopping at the store in the meat market, resting in her femininity, 15 years ago. So
what do you think about what's talked about? Well, I mean, you said she could have been that woman at the store resting in her femininity.
Buying the meat at the market in that nice little facility, in a safe, well-to-do neighborhood.
That didn't look like a safe, well-to-do neighborhood in that little facility. Like I've been in places like that. Sometimes that meat.
It's a nice little shopping plaza.
Sometimes
at the edge of the neighborhood. Nothing wrong with that.
That meat and those vegetables at them little meat markets like that, man. That shit.
Yeah, I get it. Sometimes
that shit be getting old.
Meat, right?
You gotta be careful with them.
Sometimes it's mystery meat. Yeah.
Them little local corner meat stores. They sell you some shit that It should have had that date sale by September 13th on it, and you bought it on September 15th. It's
not like you're buying something at Whole Foods. You're getting it at the corner plaza. I get it. On your way.
That was part of the point of I reject the premise that because in a Hispanic hood, I'll call it, they could go and go to a meat market. A woman can go to a meat market as opposed to going to Kroger or Walmart. I don't think that made her any more feminine. That was a general.
I got it. Yeah,
that I was.
But I do like the concept where she did show the fruits and vegetables. That is an issue among Black people. You know, a lot of these black areas. You know, the higher end black areas, it's not an issue. They get the Whole Foods, they get the, you know, the, what do you call it, the Publix and the what's another, you know, the I don't know all the chains, but basically the Publix, the Whole Foods and all those other nice chains that come through. But in those urban areas, they're generally devoid of that. And part of that actually relates to the fact, or one of the reasons that a lot of black people in those areas don't get fresh fruits and vegetables because of that.
But the
they don't
fact
bring
of
it
the
in.
matter is, if they can get in their cut, I mean, okay, where do they get their groceries from?
They're usually getting it from basically, what is it, like that dollar store, and then they're buying it in the cans with all the preservatives and all the other nonsense and everything else. That's where they're getting a lot of their stuff from.
I think they get their snacks from like the dollar store, and the dollar store do put like some frozen, put like some little frozen food and stuff in there. I don't think people are living off frozen food.
No, and then what was that store?
They're driving to Walmart. They're driving to Meijer.
Okay, Walmart,
driving to Kroger. So my argument is, if they could drive to Walmart, Meijer, or Kroger, they can drive to a Whole Foods place. They can drive somewhere that has some fresh fruit and fresh meat and fresh vegetables, if that's what they really want.
Well, Kroger's has all of the stuff you're talking about. It has the same stuff. It's just maybe different quality and a little bit less of it, but they have all the same stuff.
Okay,
but if they can get there to a Kroger's or a Publix, then they're probably fine. The issue is they argue they can't do it. That's the issue. They got to take a bus. They don't have transportation. They can't figure out how to organize that and stuff like that. That's what they're talking about. So when I you know, I'm not a quant guy like Chris, but I do kind of look at some of these things when they complain about the fact that, you know, some of these black areas are food deserts and things like that, and why there's not the infrastructure in black areas that are, whereas they are in other, you know, versus other neighborhoods. And, you know, there's some other historical challenges and, you know, direct challenges that black people have that other groups don't have also, which you know what they are. We don't need to get into that. Right.
Well, you said Dollar General is almost like Walmart. No, there's no produce section at Dollar General. But the fact of the matter is, like, I don't believe when it comes, okay, when people need to buy groceries, I'm talking they're about to actually buy some groceries, you know, and it says, you know, really you probably do that like once every 2 weeks, where you really go and you stock up on groceries. When people need to do that, if they don't have a car, they get a ride out there. They get a ride to the grocery store, they stock up. The dollar store, Dollar Tree, and all of that, it holds them over. It would be nice if it was a little meat market there, but what I have learned, I mean, what I have observed, those meat markets that be in the hood, it was a black owned one. You know, yeah, it was a black owned one. Well, not exactly in my neighborhood, but close enough to where I kind of could say that. It was a black owned one. And the funny thing is, a lot of people was still getting that ride out to Walmart because it was cheaper, you know? So I'm not convinced that just having it there closer is going to make a difference in the overall quality of food that people are going to eat. People who make poor eating decisions are going to eat poorly. They're going to eat bad food. People who make healthy eating decisions are going to eat better. They're going to eat healthier food. So that rather they got to get a ride to Walmart, or rather they can find somewhere closer or locally. I mean, either way it goes. So I don't buy that. I don't buy that fully as an excuse for bad dieting. People who have bad diets, they have bad diets because they have bad diet. Like my diet is on and off when it comes to being bad. And when it's bad, it's 100% my choice. Okay. It's 100% my choice. It's not necessary. It's not the environment. So,
well, the other thing too is you're not counting on anybody else to do anything for you. You're doing everything on your own and getting it all yourself. So you're right. It is your choice.
I mean, no, it is true. It is true that I'm just pointing out that when you remove all the barriers, it's 100. Okay. It's still 100% my choice. Now, if you put some barriers there, I think it's still my choice. I you know.
Yeah. Again, Roger, but back to the woman in the video. She's trying to figure out how to get all of that nice stuff and those amenities without actually having to have a husband and actually be and without the requirement to be responding and
why and, I don't understand why we're saying nice stuff in amenities if we're just talking about food stores.
Yeah,
You got to go in and pay money and pay a premium when you're buying it locally from a food store who can't buy it in bulk like the bigger grocery store. So it's not it's not some premium thing. It's not some awesome amenity. It's you taking your money that you earned, that you had to earn from the sweat of your brow, from your labor, and going into a grocery store to do business, barter, and trade and commerce or whatever, and you paying your hard-earned money to buy food so you can eat. It's a business exchange. So that's why I don't look at it like oh, this just makes life so wonderful and easy. There's a meat market right there where I can buy food, therefore I'm more feminine. Like that was her argument. That was like, I think, yeah, that's where it gets into nonsense. He said, Bernard, you just explained that people who make bad eating decisions are also the people who shop for groceries at Dollar General. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, yeah, I mean, I think you're in agreement with me that, you know, the twice of the once every 2 weeks that they really want to go and buy some groceries, and the once every 2 weeks that they really want to go buy some groceries, they typically will find somebody to help get them to the grocery store to buy groceries. And the Dollar General stuff, if that place is local and they could walk there, that's more so you just go there and just grab a few things that you need. Hell, I do that out of convenience sometimes when I don't feel like getting on the highway going to Walmart, even though it is it's actually a meat market. Well, it's that one that's kind of further down that I don't even go to as much. It's black owned. I need to go there more. But it's a little further down. But then there's another one that's owned by, I think, some Arabs that I don't like to go. Actually, no, I just figured out recently, because I quit going there. But I just figured out recently they closed down their meat section. They closed that down. Why? Because they were the ones they were selling bad. They were selling meat that was
in violation or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I from my observation, I didn't predict that they would have to close down, but I know that sometimes I would buy something from there. This was some years ago. I quit shopping. I quit shopping there a while ago, but I would buy something from there, and I would smell it, and it would be like, this ain't quite, you know, this was right at the limit. This was right at the limit where they probably shouldn't have sold it. And I noticed that they used to have a lot of vegetables dying and stuff right there. And I'm like, so it wasn't really, so they basically just got rid of that section and just made it they just turned it into basically almost like a typical corner store with a frozen section. A corner store with a frozen food section. And so I'm saying all of that to say that even when it's, you know, fresher meat available or fresher fruits and vegetables available, I think people they're typically, when they're going to buy a lot of groceries, they're going to, even if they don't got a car, they're going to get a ride to drive out somewhere further to get it for cheaper. And then when they just need to buy something quick to get through, you know, here and there, that's where they may go to the little local meat market. That's where they may go to a Dollar General. I think that's like, people are smart enough to figure out how to navigate through that to the point to where the concept of a food desert, I don't necessarily buy that in America the way that other people try to explain it. And so that's
right. Well, I mean, you might want to just look into it. There is some reasoning to it, but yeah, I didn't want to make it about that. But I do agree with your initial point that, you know, all the nice stuff that she was looking for and asking for does not relate to her or equate or relate to or somehow is analogous to her femininity. You know, being, you know, which probably, by the way, is conditional right from the rip anyway. So it's she's just everything she was talking about was a bad faith argument, observation, and just, you know, you gotta ask those questions of, lady, show me your husband. Just stop it. Show me your husband. The video is cute, but where's your man at? Do that first. But anyway, hey, I didn't have anything else to add unless you had any more questions for me. So I guess you can get somebody else up.
Oh no, we good. We good. Nobody's. No, we good enough. If you set ready to go, then hold on. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I got super distracted by something. Got super distracted. Oh yeah, Robert J. Carmichael. Thank you for that $20 cash app. I do appreciate you sending that $20 cash app. But no. If you said all you had to say, then you're free to go. Thank you for coming on up. Thank you for coming on through. Do appreciate
Yeah, but
you.
it's a good topic, and it just at some point it gets a little aggravating when women they love presenting that stuff to women. I don't know if they do it for clicks, views, or likes, or trying to get their numbers up. I have no idea what they're doing, but it sounds wonderful to a woman. But then a man can break that down in like less than 30 seconds about what's wrong with that and what she's talking about. So I'm sure she got a lot of flack from men in the comments about her video, but and rightly so. But anyway, hey, thanks for the topic. Good stuff. Keep doing what you're doing. Mr. Your stat man, he's actually pretty impressive. I like how he does that, and I like that how he has the patience to do it. I'm a stat guy, but I don't have the patience to do the quantitative analysis and digging and data mining in order to get to that point. So the fact that he has a spreadsheet, a lot of people will see, well, that's not no. It's actually he had to do a lot of work in order to get that, just to create that spreadsheet on his own. So, and a lot of people don't really have the patience to do that. That's why when you start talking about just things in an intelligent way, people kind of blaze over or completely dismiss like the data and statistics associated with what it is they're talking about, which is why it seems like they're have no concept of reality when they're saying the things that they say. But he's a good guy to have around. So thanks for what you do, Chris. You're still listening, man. Appreciate you. All right, I'm out, brother.
All right,
keep it up.
peace.
Good work.
Yep. Thank you. All right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you for being on in here, trying to dot a few I's and cross a few T's in the back. Thank you again to Robert J. Carmichael for coming through with the $20 cash app. Shout out to everybody in the building. One thing that I do, and talking to Kevin C did make me think about this. One thing that I do want to probably do some content on coming down the pipeline at some point in the near future. We do a great deal of criticizing, and Kevin C does it a lot. He criticizes a woman, well, you're not married, you need to get a husband, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, in this space, we talk a lot about the reasons why men should be hesitant, or at least a little gun shy about getting married. So it's like the critique of these chicks ain't married, they're wayward, but we ain't exactly about sending men into that buzzsaw either. So it is a catch. It is a legit catch 22. It is a legit catch 22. Like, I care about family structure operating and working normal. I talk about the benefits of that, but then at the same time, I don't like to send men into a buzzsaw either. I don't like to send men into a buzzsaw. So that's something that we'll probably do some more talking about as we get things moving along around here. But this is something else I'll get into while I got you here. This was something interesting. I was going to do a pre-record on this, but this is something very interesting that came down the pipeline from our dear friend Alan. Oh, I always forget, is it Alan Obi or Obi Allen? Let me know in the chat if you know. Let me know in the chat if you know. And did I do this one, by the way? He says, or how about they can't rest in their femininity because they had no femininity to begin with? Ding, 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 ding. Femininity has to be present from the beginning. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's a lot of the times. Damn, Jackie, that's funny. Says, yeah, I can't get a decent husband with y'all talking points. Yeah, the environment, families matter, but is a man has to be hella careful. Families matter, but a man has to be hella careful. So yeah, that's an actual thing. That's an actual thing. He said it's not a catch-22. It's intentional pressure. Put women in an ideological vice until they break. Yeah, but at the same time, then we're shaming and criticizing them. Shaming and criticizing them for not being married, while simultaneously saying, "Hey, man, don't get married to these hoes." It's something. I do agree with the whole concept of putting them in that vice grip. I do agree with the concept of bending them till they break. Trust me when I say I'm with that. Trust me when I say I'm with that. But damn it, hold on. Oh wait, hold on. Here it go. Here it comes. I'm trying to get this pulled up. This clip is an excellent clip. Okay, look like Christian just came back. So we're gonna chop it up with Christian. I was about to pull up an Obie Allen clip. We probably will still get back to that. But Christian, what's going on? What's up?
Yep, I'm
You're
back.
But you had a little brief meeting or something?
Yeah. I had like 3 meetings I had to do. But they're all fast stuff. But it's Thursday, so everybody has end of week status reports because no one wants to do it on Friday. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's a big thing in corporate now. No meetings on Friday. So anyway, so you guys are talking about the food stuff. So that's actually the grocery store concept. So I actually have a lot of experience with that because my wife is Chinese, and actually I have a really good friend who's Indian and a really good friend who's Mexican, and they're all women, funny enough. So they don't shop at those grocery stores for all their food. Remote, like they don't like. So they have Pacific ethnic foods or dishes that they get food like vegetables or fruits or things from their home country that's specific for their dishes. Like they're not going there to buy bread and eggs and things like that. Like, they like my wife goes to the Chinese grocery store, even though it's 25 miles away. She goes to the Chinese grocery store to buy fruit that's only available in China. That's why she doesn't go to she can't go to Kroger or Meijer or Walmart and buy that fruit. You know what I mean? Like she has to go to the Chinese grocery store just for that. So that's the added layer. Like there's no unique food that only Black people eat who are from the United States. Now, if you want to make the argument that Nigerians or people from Ghana or something like that would have like some sort of store, I would get that. But the fact is, our diet is pretty much an American diet. So you're actually competing directly against the mainstream store in that case. Because again, my wife doesn't go to the Chinese grocery store to buy eggs because she doesn't need. Now, there's Chinese eggs that she can buy, right? That are from Pacific type of Chinese chicken that's not available here in the United States. But just your regular run-of-the-mill eggs, no. And she buys those eggs because she wants to make a Pacific dish. She doesn't even buy them. My mother-in-law buys them because my wife doesn't know how to make the dish. My wife will use just regular American eggs to make that dish. So that's what it's a disingenuous argument, is what I'm saying. Like we don't have a separate diet from white people, basically.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So even like for example, a Hispanic food store, you're saying that they probably got a lot of stuff in there that's very specific that they specifically eat that they may not be able to get, just pulling up at Walmart. They may not be able to get it.
Yeah.
And then they got a bunch of normal stuff in there that they make some money off of as well, but it's not that kind of thing. Like basically, in I think the black-owned food store that I talked about is probably running into this problem that it's nice if you're close by it, it's convenient, and I think you end up paying a little more, but you probably, you can go in there, you can get some, a nice cut of meat. I like it works in terms of convenient.
Yeah.
Like, there's a Jack's Fruit Market that, sometimes I want a steak, I go there, but I was going to the little black owned meat market as well, when I wanted one. But overall, yeah, like people do the bulk of their grocery shopping. They do the bulk of their grocery shopping at Walmart. You've never seen, like, even at those stores, those corner stores, the little meat markets, they got I can't see they got the little hand baskets. All right. You don't see somebody go in there and got a buggy filled up from top to bottom. You don't see that at those stores. Like, people are doing the bulk of their grocery shopping where they're stocking up at the big superstores that got everything. That's where
Yeah.
people do it. So I mean, now it would be nice. It'd be nice if some black business folks, black businessmen, built would essentially amounted to a big ass, superstore like that, and got in the game and competed. But because they, offered and put the same exact thing as what Walmart is offering, which is very difficult to do because Walmart buys everything in super bulk to where that's why they could sell it for super cheap.
Yeah.
So that, but yeah, I would like to see some black men, get in that game. But
There's smaller regional grocery stores like we have like Nino Savaggio's here in Metro Detroit. But Nino Savaggio's they have like different their stuff is really high end. Like they basically got into area what they did was when they were like a little Italian grocery store back in the day, and they were on like the in the eastern suburbs. That's where a lot of the Italian people lived here. But then when things developed and people started going into gourmet vegetable and higher end stuff, Whole Foods wasn't here yet. So Nino Savaggio's, they built new grocery stores in the higher end suburbs that were basically serving that Whole Foods market before Whole Foods got there. That's what they did. Now, there's still a Nino Savaggio's, actually not far here from my house, but that's the one that's been here since the 1920s. Okay? Like, and so there really is no, because that store is there, there's not like a bunch of big box stores in that area. There might be like one Kroger like 3 miles away, and there's like a Meijer maybe 6 miles away. So they like cornered that market. Like, you can't, but that's why it's so devastating when people burn down businesses, when you steal from the store so much that they can't operate, or the insurance costs are driven up. See, that's the insidiousness of that stuff, because it removes the ability to operate, because no one gets rich owning a grocery store. I mean, you're not going to get rich owning a grocery store. I know people who own grocery stores. Like, the people I know who are pretty wealthy, who own grocery stores, they don't own one. They own like 6 or more. Like, they own a bunch of grocery stores. So
yeah, no, I agree. That's what I've always thought, how I've always looked at it. But Al Boogie in the building, he says we have to go to New Jersey or something. No Walmart in New York City. That's huge if they did that by design. If they did that by design, like, they won't let it come in there, because like there's a documentary on Sam Walton, the guy who built Walmart, and I talk about this all the time when they talk about white people, you hear some black women say white men work as a collective. I'm like, no, the hell they don't. No, the hell they don't. Sam Walton put so many small white businesses out of business by building those Walmarts. He will shut they shit down by pulling up with a Walmart in close proximity, but he's selling everything so much cheaper. Now people can't stay in business. They end
Yeah,
up their business ends up closing down. They end up having to go work for Walmart. that's what ended up happening.
yeah. I mean, think about the
That's
family.
cutthroat.
Yeah, a
But yeah.
pharmacist, like the local farm. Like when's the last time you've seen a small independent pharmacy? I mean, you see them here or there, right? But a pharmacy, optometrists, things like that. That was stuff that I remember it used to be expensive to buy glasses as a kid. Like go to get glasses was like $400. I went
Mhm.
I a pair of glasses like $150 now, $120.
Yeah. Yeah. I
With
would
the
I wouldn't know how much glasses cost because
yeah.
I I need to know, but I don't know. But Charles Charles Merchant in the building says the same females complaining about food deserts are the same ones claiming there aren't enough financially viable husbands. Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
females complaining about food deserts are the same ones claiming there aren't enough financially viable husbands. Well, if there were more meat markets, then that would mean at least for the person who owned the meat market, that's one financially viable husband. But they think that money extrapolates. One, they think when they see another man who owns a meat market, they think that money spreads out and extrapolates to every man in the community, and all the women get to sit on their patio and sip lemonade because there's a meat market on the corner somewhere. But all right.
Another thing is too, like when we had that spreadsheet pulled up of the various stuff, is that when you see what the income levels are that are required, like the pool is so small when you start getting over a certain range, and that's why I wanted to show the individual income earners and what the household look like. Like it just it shows what people are actually really dealing with, and it's just if the numbers are not just realistic to what they think, and also too it speaks to the concept of if I'm sitting here telling a guy who's 25 years old that you just think about what they're trying to say. What they're trying to say is that if you're a black male, if you go to college, trade school, the military, whatever, that it's just not good enough for you to make $75,000. You have to build an economic ecosystem for you to get married to them. And if you think that if that's the standard that you're going to put on guys, they're not going to get married to the women who are saying this. They're going to get married to someone else. That's what's going to happen. Because it's kind of absurd to because like my wife didn't care that black people didn't have like a whole economic ecosystem, because they look at it as it's kind of weird to like give credit to a whole race for an economic ecosystem, because they're only benefiting, like you said, if they are connected. So it's like if let's like their dad or their uncle or aunt or something like that owns it, they look at it as it doesn't help them. It's not just because a black person owns a Chipotle franchise. That doesn't mean they own a Chipotle franchise. No, that means that family owns a Chipotle franchise. That's how they
That's
see
what
it.
I've been trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
explain.
yeah.
That's
That's no, yeah. That's how they see it. And
yeah.
so when they look at you, it's like, oh, you're not doing anything. It's like, well, that's not how most people operate, because they look at it unless they have it. Now, if they own something, they might say you need to own something. But if they don't own anything, what difference does it make them?
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's more or less what I've been trying to explain. I even referenced when me and my ex-wife owned a clothing store. That didn't mean that black people in proximity owned a clothing store. they could come there and they could buy something. That was their only relationship with the store. But we are joined by Little Big Nate and Chaotic Truth. What's up? What's going on? I ain't spoke to you in a minute, man.
Going on, man?
Congratulations on the success of your channel, man. You've been blown up since we last talked.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, man.
Congratulations. We'll get to you in a second, but go ahead, Little Big Nate. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Well, do you want to talk about femininity? Do you want to talk about first, let me start with why.
Whichever one you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Okay, let's. Hey, Mr. Chaotic Truth, Mr.
How you doing,
Hutchinson.
sir?
Salute, Brother Bernard. You know, Obsidian is credited with discussing Black female foolishness, we'll say. You know, you got to replace the other F word. But I'm responsible for giving you its origin. Black female foolishness found its origin with Black women's relationship to the Luciferian left. Period. Period. For 70 years, these women have been under the tutelage of the Democrat Party. Period. Mr. Hutchinson went into detail on how ridiculous, you and Mr. Hutchinson went into detail how ridiculous it is to think in this collectivist sense that because a white guy starts a grocery store somewhere, all white people are benefiting from that. All over the country, if not the world. That's stupid collectivist leftist thinking. Black women, because of their political allegiance, are largely Marxists and socialists. That's what they are. All you heard from that dark-skinned nightmare woman that was in the car was the rantings and musings of a leftist, Marxist, and a socialist. Everybody else's work is somehow supposed to benefit her. Instead of being what a proper man wants in a woman, the only way you can do that is if you have a mother decent enough to rear you to become that. And we know Black women largely don't do that in this country. They just don't. They want their daughters to be just as miserable and failed in the romance department as they were. How many Black women in this country do you think sit down with their daughters, take them by the hand and say, hey, sweetheart, you know, these are the mistakes I made when I was coming up. I want you to avoid those mistakes. Shout out to Al Boogie with his stupid leftist nonsense. Shout out to Al Boogie.
Hey, I was just pulling up the file so I could delete that.
Yeah, he's a leftist little weirdo. He's a leftist weirdo. That's what he is. But shout out to Al Boogie, though. Shout out to Al Boogie. I want you to watch what I do with the Manosphere meetup, son. I'm going to teach you how to be a man. Okay?
All right, move on. Go ahead.
But yeah, that's what Black women do. They're leftists, they're collectivists, they're Marxists because of their 70-year-long now political allegiance to the left. That's what you're going to get. You're not going to get women who understand, well, if I want to have a successful relationship, which leads to successful community is a bunch of individual people that pair up together with like minds to make a functional community. Black women don't believe in that. And unfortunately, the Black men that follow Black women don't believe in that either. That's why I promote Black men. You have got to get away from the Democrat Party. You have got to stop following Black women into hell. That's why you see me post hashtag Little Big Nate was right. I came to this space saying that 3 years ago. My first interview with Bernard was why I'm voting for Donald Trump 3 years ago. And I've been promoting conservative ideology in the space ever since. And the space is moving towards where I've been pushing. You can take it or leave it. Now, femininity, all right? Femininity is supposed to govern a woman's actions and behavior. This is why it's so important and why it's so detrimental when Black women don't have it. Other women, and there's a femininity deficit throughout the country. It's not just with Black women. Plenty of white broads, plenty of Latinas. You know, these young girls are engaged in prostitution on Instagram. I mean, widespread prostitution amongst young American girls. And in particular, young American Black girls. They think it's cool. They think, you know, that's how you get the bag. You exchange your access to yourself for it. Femininity governs a woman's behavior. There is a feminine way she will sit, walk, talk, think, interact with men and women. Femininity governs a woman's behavior. When it's absent, you get the American Black woman today. Full of vitriol, hate, Every other word is a curse, gluing hair to their head. All the non-feminine things you see Black American women doing. And because they refuse to ask the question why are the men leaving? Why are they getting passports? Why are they not marrying us? Why are they not engaged in relationships with us? They're scared to death to ask the question why. They won't ask it. And there's really no fix to this, unfortunately. A non-feminine woman, you have to write them off. A woman without femininity is a woman without discernment. Discernment is a large component of a feminine woman. I'm not going to mess up my reputation. I'm not going to mess up my image. I'm not going to be going throughout town and being considered a whore. A lot of Black women, unfortunately, don't care about that. You're talking to a man who raised a daughter by himself. This is why I'm qualified to talk about these things, and I know these things. Unfortunately, most of the men in this space don't know these things. They weren't saddled with the responsibility of raising a daughter by themselves from the age of 2. But I was. Her mother was nowhere around. She was a phone call, 3 or 4 times a week, but she wasn't present. So when a woman lacks femininity, all sorts of horrible things are going to follow that lack of femininity. The explosion in single mother rate, childbirths, all related to women who are not feminine, who lack discernment. The cursing, the attitude problem. Feminine women don't ever conduct themselves in that way. How to get Black women are feminine. They're just cultured and cultivated to not be. They're set at variance with their nature because of their political leanings. And I hope anybody who disagrees will come up and deal with me on it. Come out of the chat. Don't be a bitch.
So,
All right.
Mr. Big Nate, Mr. Big Nate,
Yes,
I don't think it's their political leanings from birth. My premise of how this happens is because of where Black men sit economically in relation to the government benefits, that what happens is, especially when you say we're men in general, whether they're Black or otherwise, where they sit when household formation happens and childbirth happens, that the benefits far exceed the production, the economic production of the man. And in the short term, they take that deal, and then that's how they get hooked into changing their ideology. Now, I know they have to be open to it. They have to be open to the concept, but people behave on incentives, and I think that incentive is so high at that moment when they're very vulnerable that it's like the first hit of crack, and then they can't get off of it.
But Mr. Hutchinson, they are surrounded by failure as they do this. Every single example they have is an example of misery and failure. Why would they continue to do it for generations?
Well, so I believe that first, that they don't realize it's failure until they realize it's failure. That it takes them a couple years to realize that they're not thinking at the moment they make the decision. They're not thinking about it's been proven out in these social.
Hold on, wait. What decision? What decision are you talking about?
The decision of who they decide to have children with, and then the decision of how they're going to form a household and navigate life. That I'm going to say from, say 15 months out from when a baby is born to the next 36 months after the baby is born, like that 5-year time frame. Because of the environments they're in, they're not thinking long term because they have not been given any incentive to think long term. And that's why they behave the way they do. And then when they realize that they took the bad deal, then that's when they're scrambling, coming up with all this stuff. And that's how they get hooked to that's how they get hooked.
But
where did the policies come from that give them that incentive?
No, it comes from those are leftist policy. Those are leftist policy. I'm not debating that. I'm saying,
Mr. Hutchinson.
Yeah,
Mr. Hutchinson.
Yeah.
When little black girls play doll, my daughter has a dollhouse up in the loft in my house.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah.
When little girls play house, there's a mommy and a daddy. There's a house, there's a car, there's all the trappings of a successful relationship in life. None of these little girls play, I'm a single ratchet prostitute mama.
Correct.
Okay? They know black women are not inherently bad. No one is suggesting that. They're cultivated into being terrible people by the left and by feminism. Men in this space have loved to talk about feminism for years. I've been in this space about 5.5 years. For the first 2 years, all I did was listen. I went around to different panels and I listened. And 3 years ago, I started coming up on platforms and giving my perspective.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The Democrat Party has turned black women into the monsters they've become. There is a relationship between black women being the least desirable women and black women voting 96% Democrat. There is a tremendous correlation and its causation for why they are the women they are today. The only black women that are going to have a chance are the ones willing to walk away from that ideology, recognize the good guys from the bad guys, and then they become what the good guys want, qualify, and get under those men's leadership. There's no widespread collectivist protection for these stupid women, despite how much shaming that they try to pour on our heads. There's nobody coming to save them at 45 years old, 80 pounds overweight with 3 children by 3 different men. Nobody's coming, and they're covered in tattoos. Nobody's coming to save them. We have to lay out the simple, difficult, brutal truth to them. And then the few that don't want no parts of that are the few we can deal with, and the rest will perish. That's it. That's just my perspective. Thank you.
Well, and I do want to bring chaotic truth in here, but one thing that you said, Christian, is that the economic situation of black men. The way I look at it is this: a woman, if I don't look at it in terms of whether it's a better deal here or a better deal there, or like it really comes down to whether or not she actually wants a man. Because if she could survive off welfare and have a certain modicum of freedom and not be attached to a man, versus if let's just say the dollar amount of what the average man made was absolutely equal to the dollar amount of what they could get off the system, or whether or not it's close to the dollar amount that they can make just going to work for themselves, and maybe even subsidizing some of the discrepancy with the system. Either way it goes, I just think it's just the mere fact that the ability to survive and function without a man is on the table, whether she can go and work for it herself or get it off the system. That makes I think black women at a higher percentage rate say, hey, I'm not interested. Because let's just say if they on average can get $50,000, if you add up everything they can get from the system, it comes up to about $50,000. But the average black man made $60,000. I don't think that $10,000 difference I don't think that makes a difference in her decision making when she's young. I don't necessarily see that as a thing.
I think there's something to it because of what's the marriage rate for men who make $75,000 or more? It's over 85%.
Wow.
Right? That's the marriage rate. One-time marriage rate. They may not be actively married today, but they were married at one point, basically, right? That's the marriage rate for men at that level.
Yeah, but men. I mean, I think it cuts both ways. I think men, once they start making a certain amount of money, reach a certain amount of success in their life, then they do want to get married and start a family. And I think women are more likely to get married. I mean, women are more likely to get married to a man who makes more money. But them not encountering that man who makes more money, I don't think that gives that doesn't give an excuse for them to go get pregnant by somebody who's not worth a damn. So
I'm not. So first of all, I'm not excusing it. I'm talking
Okay.
about the mechanics of the behavior. Okay, when you say that 50, that 40, that 45, the value of benefits is $50,000. Basically, that's the replacement cost of a man in the house. You have to deal with another adult. You have to deal with all the things within a relationship. You have to deal with this person for decades.
Yeah.
Or you take this no strings attached benefit that you have no you have no loyalty to. Like you get it no matter what.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, the $75,000 number, guess how much that spread is? The percent difference is 40%. What's the marriage spread? 50%. You
What do
think
you
that's
mean by
just
spread 40% versus 50%?
the difference between a man who made the $50,000 benefit amount versus a $75,000 salary, right? The percent difference is 40%. The marriage spread between a man and a woman is typically 50%. You think that's happenstance?
I'm not even 100% sure if I'm fully understanding exactly what it is that you're saying.
You say spread, yeah.
Yeah, you're losing me on the spread. You're losing me on the spread.
So the value, the value of entitlement benefits is $50,000, right? That's like the working number, $50,000. But we know that when a man hits $75,000, the marriage rates climb into the 80% and climbs from there, right?
Okay.
When you do the percent difference between those two numbers, between $75,000 and $50,000, the percent difference is 40%, meaning the man is outperforming government benefits by 45%.
Okay, now how do you explain the marital rate between Hispanic and Latino people? Because they don't make that much money.
I'm just saying that what with the Latino population, I think because they're still so heavily tied to the Catholic Church, that's still a big driver that's going to keep that going, and we're going to see how that plays out over the next generation or two if they maintain that connection to the Catholic Church. I mean, I have nothing to prove that out, but I think that is a big driver of it.
So at the end of the day, you're saying that it's cultural.
Yes, it's a cultural thing, but then it comes down to there's this economic benefit, right? Also, too, with the Latino population, there is some issues with because they're heavily immigrant. Like, for instance, when my wife came to the country, I had to sign off that she was not going to basically have any she's not going to access the system. Basically, me being the American citizen and sponsoring her, because she was a Canadian citizen technically, so she has a green card. Yeah, then she had to prove she had wages, and I essentially had to prove that she was going to be able to live here and not access the system at all with my money.
If I could,
and really quick, nobody other than Asian men are averaging at that 75K. It's like, so I mean, I look at it and I view it as generally a cultural thing that's going on. And that's more or less where I view it as. Yes, if black men made more money, it would generally make a difference. It would generally make a difference. When you're looking at Hispanic men that make that make less than black men, but their marital rate is higher, that shows that it's not purely economic, because technically it wouldn't need the magic number, really. I mean, if it's just about replacing, like, okay, if she can make 40K and the black man can make 50K or 43K, I mean, really, I mean, if her goal is to not be attached and not work, I mean, he would have to make 93K. I mean, things just not going to function. Things just not going to function in the middle if basically if it's the case that where a man must make X amount of dollars in this modern time for a functioning family, for a family to function and act normal until she go file a divorce, then it's basically the system is already collapsed on itself. Technically,
can I chime in?
Go ahead, little Big Nate,
real quick, and then because I want to hear from the gentleman to my left.
Yeah, my bad, Chaotic Truth. So thank you for your patience. We got you in a second.
One thing with Mr. Hutchinson, you're missing a glaring part of this issue. It's not money, Mr. Hutchinson. It's not money. The reason these women choose to go with the state, be under a welfare system that has destroyed their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunts, their friends. All the women around them have been ruined by it. The reason they do it is because of what Bernard pointed to. It's cultural. They choose this life because they don't want to be under the constraints and the repressive boot of a husband, marriage, and a patriarch. Go to Bill Moyer's interview of about 15
I agree.
single black mothers. Did you see that?
I would agree. It's that's
but then it's not the money, Mr. Hutt. You've put all the onus on the money. The money is one of the smallest parts of it.
No, the money.
It's all. You just gotta let me finish, Mr. Hutt.
Okay.
It's all about them not being under the control of anyone else. I want the freedom to fuck, suck, get diseases, abort. They can't do that under the leadership of a man. And they want the freedom to do what the Democrats promised them they'd be able to do. Fuck, abort, do whatever they want when they want to do it. And then when they're 40, they'll get on the Kavindra G show and ask a man to come marry them. And so, now the second part of this, just real quick, to address this whole, what that woman said, there's stores and all these other men do stuff, so I can't be feminine. You stupid goddamn women who believe in what the Democrats and feminists have taught black women. In order, the men that go out and start those businesses and those stores, they didn't grow up adverse to the idea of risk. Fathers teach their sons how to properly handle risk. Entrepreneurship is risk. Now, you may say, well, these boys do risk going out, committing crimes, selling dope. That's hypermasculinity, you see. Another problem of not having an example of a father in the house. You get hypermasculinity, which is why niggas walk into chicken shacks and blow away rappers for their jewelry. They're okay with that level of risk that exists in hypermasculinity. But the standard, intelligent, calculated risk of entrepreneurship, you're only going to get that raising a boy with his father. These women have zero interest in doing that. So don't complain when you don't have stores and businesses and things to shop at from the men in your community. You ran off your brightest and best men. Our brightest and best men don't get access to our most attractive women. So they leave. They go. And I can't blame them. Go ahead.
All right. So, real quick. Hold on. We gotta hear Chaotic Truth real quick. But Theo Waff in the building said Christian is mostly right here that 50% is rather significant and is also seen in the UK and Australia. I think most of it is tied to culture and what they want to do. Most people in this country are broke when you look at the average and the median, but they're still starting families. So there's that. However, it is a easy understanding that men of any race that make it to a certain height, yes, they tend to be able, they can get married. But on the average in the middle, I think that's where it comes down to cultural. That's when it comes down to what do people want? Who are they? What type of life do they want to live? Like that's, do they value family? Do they value, 2-parent households? It comes down to values at that point once you get to people in the middle. But when you start talking about a man who's making around, who's essentially closing in on being a top 10%er, then then it's a different ball game there. But we'll come back to you, Christian. Just hold your thought. I can tell you when to jump back in there. But go ahead, Chaotic Truth. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Salute to you guys. Never in my life, and I thought that I have listened to the most brilliant of men until today. Little Big Nate, you are You've literally taken the words out of my mouth, sir. I had so much to say, but you literally, it's almost as if you went into my brain and took the thoughts out of my brain and articulated them at a high level, sir. Sir, you are on point. And at this point, all I can do is tell a remedial story going to what you're saying. Before I do that story, I want to say, Little Big Nate, you deserve statues. You deserve
No, bro.
you deserve
I'm
schools.
good, man. I'm
You
good.
deserve chapters and books, sir. And I would even argue, sir, that tad bit of 25 minutes of you speaking, sir, is on par with Kevin Samuel, sir. Rest in peace. Sir, in college many years ago, I went to a very liberal arts college in the Midwest. I hung out with Black Americans. I hung out with Africans. I hung out with Caribbeans. I hung out with whites, etc. I was at a party one time, and it was an African party, and the hosts were from Congo. It was a few girls from Congo. Now, back then, I used to drink like a white boy. I'm drinking. I'm having a good old time. I'm getting white boy wasted. I called myself trying to help out at the end when people were leaving. I went into the kitchen and I started to assist in cleaning up. Those Congolese girls literally, and I mean literally, threw me out the kitchen. They said the kitchen is not a place for a man. You don't have to help us. But they were, obviously they had accents. They were speaking Lingala too. They said, you don't have to help us. Men are not supposed to be around women when women are doing women's task. All of my years in college, when I was around the African American women, not one time did an African American woman muster those sentences, muster that out of their mouths. They were used to simps. They were used to the Black men calling them quines. But here goes the African women straight off the boat. Now, these Congolese girls were straight off the boat. They literally took out the trash. They literally cleaned their own kitchen. They literally cooked and they literally cleaned and had everything ready at the party. Now, that little event says a lot. Femininity is key for a woman. And you are right, sir. The price of a woman is based on her femininity. Nobody wants a 45-year-old single mom who wants to settle down, sir. You are absolutely right. Her sale price or her sale call has ended. She's valueless at that point. Mental illness, a life of blaming everyone for her problems, hypermasculinity. No man wants to be around a woman like that. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely on par. Now, sir, you may not know this, but I was on the Lapeef Network many months ago, Little Big Nate. Are you aware?
I've seen you move. I've seen you grow. Salute to you, young man.
Thank you, sir. Now, here goes Six the Goddess. Here goes a 32-year-old single mother whom all her life has been told she's a quine. That's why she calls herself Nefertiti. You see, I can read through BS. I can read through bullshit. I went to school with women like this nutcase. When she got on the panel, she thought that I was going to simp for her because so many men have simped for her. I put her in her place like I put most women in their place. What are you speaking to me for? I should not be speaking to you, ma'am. Where is your husband at, ma'am? Why are you trying to be masculine, ma'am? I don't have to answer to you, ma'am. And she could not believe that. You see, the problem with YouTube, and I'm not trying to clown anyone or I'm not trying to talk about anyone. Unfortunately, most people did not go to college. And I didn't realize that until I got on YouTube. See, I went to a very liberal arts college and I had 50,000 human beings on my campus. It was nothing like seeing 1,000 pieces of ass walk by on a daily basis. You see, I don't think a woman like Six or many other women realize that. You see, when they see me, they see in their opinion, they probably see a man who's not attractive, et cetera, et cetera. But what they don't know is that I've had all types of coochie. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a member of other prestigious organizations. I have had access to coochie all of my life. Even when I was in high school, I went to a predominantly female high school. My high school, listen, I graduated with a class of 77. It was 6 boys who graduated with me. That's because the school used to be an all-girls school. So a lot of these women don't realize that a lot of men have different experiences, like the woman who called into the Lapeef Network. See, she was shocked that a man put her in her place. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care how you think you look. You are supposed to be feminine. You are supposed to be prissy. You are supposed to be elegant and refined. You are supposed to be conservative. You are supposed to be modest. And when you call in and you have your cleavage showing, when you call in and you're being combative to a man, when you call in and you're doing everything to undermine patriarchy, then I'm going to remind you of your place in humanity, because it is only at the grace of God and it's only at the mercy that we have allowed you to act like that. Because if shit were to hit the fan, what would women really do? And that's what happened. And now, Little Big Night,
Yes,
do
Real
you know
quick
how
before
many?
you go to Little Big Nate, I stepped away for a second.
Go
I
ahead.
came back. Are you recounting or retelling the story? I don't know exactly what happened.
Yes, sir.
Are you referring to a run-in you had with the YouTuber?
Yes, I was
Sister Goddess?
yes, I was using her as an example.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was using her as an example.
I didn't know what you was talking about. I don't know what all you said. I don't know
Yeah.
if yeah.
And
I mean, no,
what I was
go ahead. Go
and
ahead.
what
Go
I
ahead.
was saying is that regardless of how tall or how you think you look, and this is I don't know that woman. I haven't talked to her, but it goes to any woman. You're a 30-year-old single mother. I don't care how you think you look. I don't care how many men have simped for you. I'm going to constantly remind you of what you are in reality. You are a part of the black on black violence issues in this country, because most murderers who are black men come from single parent households. You are a part of the degenerate class of black boys who are carjacking and mugging and robbing fellow blacks, because those boys come from that single mother coochie. So I'm gonna always blow down on you. I'm gonna always say these things to you, because you
And I
need
have
to.
something to add once the gentleman's done.
Absolutely. Now, any woman listening or any simp that is listening, society runs better in a patriarchy. It does. And again, when all the roads are built, all the bridges are built, all the castles essentially are built, men tend to relax. And because of that relaxation, we've allowed the LLGB, whatever community, to thrive. We've we've given you mercy to be a carpet muncher. We've given you mercy to speak back to us and be disrespectful. But don't get it twisted. When that hand returns, it's gonna be brutal. And that goes out to simps. That goes out to masculine women or women who don't want to be feminine. Men will eventually put you in your place. Those are just absolute facts. The same thing is going to even happen with this surge in criminal activity. Eventually, we are going to start hanging criminals and whipping criminals again. We're going to start. Just hear me out. Hear me out.
Time out.
No, I haven't been up here in a while. Give me a second. I'm not going to get.
I gotta push pause on. We're going to start back hanging criminals.
Okay.
Who are
Well,
we?
all I'm saying is that the pendulum is always going to return back in the favor of order. And the fact of the matter is that
talking about public hangings. Would this be from trees or like monkey bars?
I'm talking about public hangings, and listen. So yes, again, listen. When I'm on the Lapeef Network, I make it a point to let those women know, all the women on the panel, to know that that nobody cares about your college degrees, your little businesses you start, your little organizations. All men care about is, are your hands soaking in wet from a days of washing dishes? That's what your place in nature really is.
You know,
See,
the
and,
chaotic
people
and chaotic
think
truth is like the truth be like, you know, like
yeah.
on a nice, you know,
See,
easy
Bernard,
road, and then you just
Bernard,
maybe you'll make a sharp
yeah.
left to that
But
chaotic real
yeah,
fast.
Bernard, there's a reason why. Because what Big Nate is saying now, he definitely says it more peaceful and elegant than I do.
No, you
Oh
don't say.
Lord, you
But
don't
I
know
don't think
me.
he.
But
I don't
You don't
think he
know me.
said. Hold on, wait, real quick. Let me put these back on.
let
I
me
don't think
finish
he
real
says
quick,
it
Bernard.
more peacefully. I
Yeah,
just
but
think he doesn't say that we're gonna start back publicly hanging criminals from trees.
But see, Bernard, I had to use an extreme example to say something to talk about an extreme here. You see, what's gonna happen when men start saying we're not gonna protect you anymore because it is your whorish behaviors that cause a lot of your problems? What's going to happen when millions of men start realizing this? Bernard, do you know how many black men are in the penitentiary or in the cemetery because they've simped for a degenerate black
Oh
woman?
my God.
Do you
Yeah,
realize that, sir? Do
we
you
don't
realize
have
that?
we don't
Do you
have
Mhm.
we don't have exact data on that, but I do talk about that a lot. I
Right? We
would
don't have the
love
data
for
on it.
somebody. I would
Yeah.
Well, I've
love
got
for.
data.
But
Hold on,
but
wait, hold on,
let me
hold on.
finish.
Time out. Hold on, wait.
Yeah,
If Nate say he got data on that, for the
yeah,
sake
I
of
got data.
making this a little more conversational, what data
What?
do you have that
I got
black
data,
men
bro.
that
Can
I'm
I?
not black men that men the percentage of men that are in the penitentiary related to something that had something to do with either caping, simping, white knighting, or just something in some way, shape, or form involving a woman.
Okay.
I listen. Let me finish real quick because I didn't get a chance to speak. But
Go
let me
ahead.
get this real quick. Bernard,
Uh,
after that incident with Six, I had men DMing me and emailing me talking about that they were gonna smoke me, talking about if they saw me, what they were gonna do, all because now, mind you, she started it, but all because I told her I don't have to answer to you. You need to be in the kitchen, cleaning and cooking and taking care of your child instead of being on a panel talking to strange men that you don't know. You are doing everything that a woman should not be doing. And you have a
So
lot of simps that empower.
you're gonna shut down the Lapeef network with that argument. But anyway,
Well,
go ahead.
and so what I'm saying is that little big Nate is right. A lot of a lot of women have caused chaos and disorder in the community because they are not feminine. You know, they want to be in men's businesses, they want to be in men's spaces, and their behavior is absolutely appalling and degenerate. The
Atrocious.
cursing, the smoking of the weed, the alcohol consumption. When I was on the beef, tattoos, and when I was on the beef, when I told them, I said a woman drinking with you that you don't know is a deadly situation. She can accuse you of rape, she can accuse you of anything. And mind you, you both were drinking, you both are adults. Even
Yeah.
looking at a woman now is dangerous. Women can accuse you of anything and can make up anything. And some simp, and I would even argue that most black families have very low IQ individuals. And people know that. And what do simps do? What do people in these? I'm gonna call my cousin. I'm gonna call that. Have we not heard these things? Because we have a problem with
All right,
IQ.
chaotic. Okay, let's. I don't want to lose the point that we was making
No, I'm
about
on.
the.
I got some stats though.
Yeah. I want to hear these stats on
Okay.
how many men are actually locked up of something
Okay.
because of something
I'm gonna
involving
go
a
on mute.
woman.
I'm gonna go on mute.
All right, and thank you, chaotic. And just for the record, I cut you off when you're talking about hanging people from trees. But you know,
I know we're scared to talk about the truth.
90,
I know.
90,
We're
90,
scared.
90, no.
We're so scared to talk about the truth,
Hold
but it's
on,
fine.
brother. 95% of what you said, I was 100% in agreement with. So don't get that part twisted. I rocks with you. I just stopped short at hanging public hangings. I just stopped short there. But I go ahead, little big Nate.
All right. I said now they're not technically stats, but we have some anecdote. Well, it's not anecdotal for me, but there's some stories in the news that give us insight onto the dangers of simping. On my show, I have the Protect Black Women Death Angel. If you come to my show, I'll show it to you. It's an angel that appears over your shoulder Soon as a black woman you know comes to you with a story of how she was mistreated and she wants you to come save her.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this on your show a couple of months ago. I said there was the black man that got killed for $3 in potato chips in New York. There was the black woman that called her career criminal 20-year-old son to McDonald's over cold fries, and he shot and killed a
I did a video
20-year-old
on that.
black male McDonald's worker. There's the two black men in Detroit whose sister got them to go try to fight her baby daddy. They tried to run in his house. The baby daddy shot and killed both of them. And then there's the black man that got 50 cents of gas poured on him by his black girlfriend at the gas station, set on fire and murdered. So that's
How do
5
you know
black
it was
men
exactly? How do you
for
know it was exactly?
$5.
Oh wow!
Five dead black men for $5.
My only question is, how do you know it's exactly 50 cents of gas? Like, did they pay?
That's what the
pump?
story said.
And-
She drizzled out 50 cents of gas on her boyfriend in the back seat and set him on fire. That's what the news story said. 50 cents in gas. 5 dead black men for $5. Deal with it.
All right. Now, for in all fairness, I mean, one of those are messed up stories. I did cover some of those stories that don't qualify. That don't qualify as exact data on this.
No, it's not data. It's not data. You're right.
I got a suspicion. I got a suspicion that, when we look at a lot of, I ain't even trying to just say, let's blame women for this, but I know from just a lot of personal stories, anecdotes, and a lot of the times when something happened, somebody come, riding on somebody over some junk involving a woman, and then they riding back on them, and then they've been going at it all summer. People, dead bodies pop. A lot of that stuff get traced back to something involving a female.
Absolutely.
So I would love if some way somehow we had some actual data on that, because anecdotally, yeah, that the percentage of particularly black men in prison, it'll be staggering. It'll be a staggering number if we ever do get data on that. But
and you know how absent femininity is in the black community. Feminine women seek to avoid conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Feminine women do everything they can to avoid conflict. The American black woman does everything she can to not only engage in conflict, but take it to physical, bring it into the aspect of the physical. She'll take an argument and make it physical. Saying the American black woman is the least feminine is not an attempt to insult black women. It's a diagnosis, which is our responsibility as men. We're supposed to point out what's wrong, and then those people that are being critiqued can either make changes to improve or be left behind. Mm-hmm. And there's a number of ABWs and, in all honesty, black men that just need to be left behind. They just do.
Yes, left behind, not hung from trees. Left behind.
No.
All right,
I'm
no.
not saying.
I'm just messing with chaotic.
Bernard, I just sent you there's a data visualization app for the FBI uniform crime report for the last 20 years. I just sent it to you in the private chat. So it shows a breakdown of offenders by race and various types of offenses. I mean, we can't go through it live on air, but we could really get into it. It's all broken down already by the FBI. This is all published data. It's out there.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably take somebody to really to probably find the data that you're sending me and really just comb through all of it for for over the course of a couple years, just to get a sample size of how much of it would fall in the category of what chaotic truth and Nate was talking about. You said you just sent it? Because I'm looking. I'm not going to pull it up now, but I'm just looking at
I sent it in the private chat.
In the private chat. My bad. I'm looking in my email. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. I'll save that link.
There's something in there for you too, chaotic truth, in the private chat. All
right. Cool. All right. I got that. Let me find find a safe place to save that email. But yeah, but no, but good stuff. Interesting take, fellas. Shout out to everybody in the building. If y'all are new here, subscribe, and definitely if you're not subscribed to Chaotic Truth, like I said, his channel's been taken off lately, so make sure you go check out Chaotic Truth, and definitely check out Little Big Nate, Nate Dog 70. Oh no, Little Big Nate 2 now. It's not even. I forget. I apologize because you they take the
I'm
channel.
always getting struck up. So yeah,
Bernard, can I say something real quick?
Yeah. So make sure you subscribe to Nate and Chaotic. But go ahead, Chaotic.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for pubbing the channel. Bernard, see, the problem is that people think that I'm a character. People think that I'm just saying these things for views, likes, and clicks, and I'm not. I live by these codes in real life, and I can tell you, when I say don't get on an elevator with a strange woman alone, or don't speak to a woman unless her husband is around, these things are life. These things will save your life as a man. If a woman has a problem with you, you say, I do not want to speak to you, ma'am. I would like to speak to your husband. And if she doesn't have a husband, then you know not to speak to her. These things can save your life in reality. Women are like children. Their brains don't function like men's. So anytime a woman is upset about anything she can make up in her head, it is very, very volatile. That's why. Is there a man around that can speak on your behalf? A father.
When you say women are like children, do you think women should be allowed to vote?
No.
Okay. That's my test. Hold on, wait. That's my test. Whenever somebody says women are children, hold on. Let me lay it out. Yeah. Whenever somebody says women are children, see, they normally do that to try to sort of gaslight men to try to stop us from making whatever criticism we're making. They try to put them in the category of children. Then I normally ask, do you think they should be allowed to vote? Should they be allowed to, be executives in major corporations? And they'll say, yes, of course they should. And then I'm like, then you don't. That means you don't think that they're children.
They shouldn't be allowed to vote. No, but Bernard,
I asked you that question. I asked you that question Bernard, to see if you were going to stand. If you were going to stand in it, what you did.
I would go as far, and I've said this before on Lapeef, and I said it on my channel. Even if you go grocery shopping, go to the aisle with the old black or old white woman who's damn near 70, 80 years old. Do not go to a young cashier, because even if you look at her wrong, society has empowered these women to believe that all men are rapists, all men are stalkers. That woman will create a problem as soon as you leave. She will tell security, that guy, look at him. Anytime he comes in here again, look out for him. That guy stared at me, blah, 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 blah. Because these women are not feminine anymore. These women don't have people who can reason with them. These women have men or women that will say, yeah, girl, he was stalking you. He was. And so what I'm saying is that to avoid these situations, you ask to speak to a man. And if there's no man around, you haul ass away. Because Big Nate is right. When a woman lacks femininity, she lacks a lot of other things. Social skills. Her IQ is low. Her awareness is off. Her awareness in terms of reality is off.
Her ego.
And women are dangerous, man. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Her ego and her arrogance out of control.
Absolutely. And now you have ugly women now who can accuse a man of something, or who can throw a man under the bus. It's getting ridiculous out here.
That's why I said femininity is a regulator. No one has said this in this space. This comes from Nate. Femininity is a regulator. Women's nature is chaotic.
Go ahead.
It's not negative. Men are balanced, rational. Women are chaotic. Our universe is filled with yin and yang, and so are men and women, and we complement each other. Men's steadfastness, their ability to exclude emotion from making decisions.
Yeah.
Women with their chaotic nature, there is some benefit to it, but it would be another conversation. But what keeps a woman's chaotic nature in check is the regulator known as femininity. And when you have a group of women, largely American women are void of this, but Black women suffer from it more than anyone because of their political allegiance and what they've been cultivated to become by feminism and by the left. For years in this space, I listened to niggas talk about feminism, the gynocracy, while niggas vote for it for the past 40 years. You niggas are hypocrites and you're contradictory. You got thousands of hours of goddamn content condemning Black women, and then you vote with them. You're a fool. You're a fool. You vote for the gynocracy. That's what you do. You vote for feminism when you vote with Black women.
What would you say, Nate, in terms of percentage? Because I do think either the majority of men in this space, they're either conservative or somewhere in the middle. What percentage would you say are full-blown,
actually,
proud Democrats?
Obsidian did a thing on his community tab. He did a vote. It was several months ago, so I don't know if you'd be able to scroll back.
I know. I remember.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think the majority were independent.
It wasn't a proper scientifically, not to criticize it, but it wasn't a.
No.
It wasn't done correctly. If you really wanted to answer, like, I mean, a lot of people do polls in this space because the polls are fun, but they put jokes in it. I'm a proud Black. One of the options was I'm a proud Black Republican. What? That they literally said that. And the other one was something like some sort of provocative term. I'm a Democrat or something like that. Then the other one was you can't trust either party. Then the other one was where the Sarah Palin looking white women at. And the other one was, did you see episode 10 of The Mandalorian? So it's like for me, it didn't give a satisfying answer, because if you want to find, the political leanings of the space, it should have been, Republican, a right leaning Republican, or no, it should have been Republican. Then the next one next to it should have been just a right of center conservative who will likely vote Republican. Then there's one in the middle, then a left of center Democrat a left of center liberal who will likely vote Democrat, and then just full blown Democrat. That would give somebody a far extreme on each side, a sort of in the middle but leaning one way, and then a full blown in the middle. That would have gave an accurate depiction of of where the space really is at politically. So
I can give you my position, but it's going to be skewed because I don't go to a lot of different platforms.
Yeah.
I'm a creature of habit. I go to maybe 5, 6, 7 platforms. That's about it. And I'll be going to Chaotic Truths. Make sure you got my email, bro. It's in the private chat.
Yeah, I emailed you. Yep.
Okay, excellent. We definitely need to talk. But Bernard, all I care about are the like-minded men. That was the basis for the Manosphere meetup in Atlanta in 2021. And that's speaking of the Manosphere meetup, let me say right now, you're listening to the CEO and director of it. Don't let anybody else give you any strange ideas. I'll just put that there. Oh, these fucking niggers, boy. Yeah.
Oh, little big Nate. Wait a minute. Sir, we definitely have to talk. I love using the hard ER. I had no idea. Oh, sir, you.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were like this, sir. Oh, it's nothing.
Oh, no, I am. Sir, for certain people.
Little big late. When I was a teacher many years ago, sir, when the classes were out of control, 30, 40 kids in the classroom, it was nothing like saying the hard ER word to a bunch of 14, 15-year-olds. For some reason, when you said that word, automatically they became Einstein the minute later. They wanted to do their work all of a sudden. They wanted to cry and complain. And sir, thank you. You are a kindred spirit. I knew something was special.
We're gonna be teaming up real soon, bro. Trust me.
Yeah,
very soon.
Absolutely.
Very soon.
All right. Sir Tice in the building says
Niggers.
percentages.
Oh, man.
Sir Tice in the building says percentages. Your channel BR 75% right, game channels and the broke down 75% left. It may be some.
It depends on the platform, in all honesty. Yeah, I think Tice has a really good point. Yeah, your platform is going to be 75% center, right, and right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of platforms that are going to be the opposite. But the biggest voices in the space, Angry Man, Obsidian, O'Shea, Bernard Riley, everybody's trending right, trending conservative, which is why men are so completely perplexed with anger at me. They hate me not because I've ever disrespected them, never said anything about them. And Bernard knows what I'm talking about, that famous now incident on your channel a few years ago.
Yeah, that video ain't even up no more.
Oh, you took it down?
Yeah, I took that down. I'm
Hey,
not
guys,
proud
I
of
have to
that. I'm
roll
not
out,
proud of
but
that moment.
I gotta
I'm not
roll out,
proud of
guys.
that. All right, who's that? Chaotic?
Yeah, I gotta roll.
Oh,
All right,
salute,
peace,
man. I'll
Chaotic.
be in touch.
Thanks for coming through. Yeah, you and Lil Big Nate should definitely get together. So thanks for bringing the truth and the chaos with you today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, peace.
All right. All right. But yeah, no, I took that down. Like that was a time when I used to, I used to let people wild out and go back and forth. But looking back at it,
we're good. We're good, man. I mean, no, we're
looking
good,
back at it, that wasn't cool. And I do have I guess a different viewpoint on said, and I wasn't as aware of said individual back then. I wasn't things
sir.
changed.
Yes, sir.
Things changed. I had to take
Yeah,
that.
no problem. No
But-
problem.
So,
But
Mr. Oh, go ahead.
in all honesty, did you want to say something, Mr.
Well, go ahead. Chris never said nothing in a while. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. Sorry, I was people were calling me. I had to take up. So, Mr. Nate, you were talking about the space treating center right. I think
Yes, sir.
I imagine that's part of your influence, but I think what it really speaks to is the economic level of the space, because of it's been known fact that as men climb the economic ladder, as particularly as they have families, or they have, whether they are married or they have kids,
Absolutely.
they tread right, because there comes a thing of, when you're married, if you have a family and you're a man and you have to take care of it, understand that no one's going to save you. And so when you have that mentality, it changes you mentally, I would say even physiologically. It changes who you are, because of that's just the reality of it, of what it takes to pay the mortgage every month, and put food on the table, and make sure your kids have health insurance. It doesn't leave this wiggle room for maybe some of these more everybody, we are the world, everyone hold their hands and sing kumbaya sort of idea, right? It just doesn't leave a lot of space for that.
Yeah,
I
no
agree.
doubt. Yeah. I'm trying to quickly do something because
So
go ahead.
And so in Mr. Big Nate, and what we were talking about earlier, like in terms of, I know we're circling back to what we were talking about before Mr. KI Truth jumped in. What I was saying in terms of like the money compared to benefits thing, I like to compare it to, it's a cost benefit analysis, and it's not good that this happens, but I'm saying this is the mechanics of the behavior is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying I agree. I'm talking about the mechanics of the behavior. It's kind of like, if I gave you, would you go work at McDonald's for $5 an hour? You would say no. Then you say $10 an hour. You would say no. You say 15. You would say no. Let's say I get to $40 an hour. Hey, would you go work at McDonald's? Now you're like, hey, you know what? I'll go work at McDonald's for $40 an hour. And so that's what is being propositioned to these women in this situation. Is it's like, okay, you have to deal with the husband. And if he makes $30,000 a year, you have to deal with this man. You have to deal with him for all this time. You can't do what you want. You have all these things that come with having a husband, because we've allowed women, rightly or wrongly, the law of the land is they can vote, they can have jobs. That this is what we allow as a society. So this is what we have. So if they have this ability to do this, what the women have essentially taken a position of is, they are only going to have a husband if if that his production exceeds benefits more than a certain amount, because it's then to her advantage. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's the mechanics of the idea. And that's why I'm saying that magic number of 75,000 is such a big number compared to the 50,000 in benefits. Because essentially what they're saying is, you know what, until this guy can take me to this level, I'll deal with the benefits. And even though it's wrong, it's probably a losing proposition, a losing argument, a losing idea. That's what they're thinking about. Because of, remember, when people have kids when they're 25, 30 years old, they're not making that sort of money. That's just the data, whether they're black, white, or whatever. That's why I'm saying they come to that conclusion. I think it's a bad idea, but that's why they get there.
Nate. Okay, I was gonna.
Well, my apologies. I was addressing a.
Oh no. Yeah. I had to time out a channel member. Like, chill. Like, yeah. I gotta chill.
Yeah,
I gotta chill.
That's
Yeah.
what he is.
Well, no. We ain't going there. I'm just gonna say, I gotta chill. But
these niggas hate me, Bernard. I've never said a word to him, and he hates me.
But back into the conversation. To what Christian is talking about. See, here's my thing with that one. It doesn't make sense for them to do it.
Oh, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Exactly. I'm not advocating that. I'm talking about mechanics.
That's where I'm at. It makes zero sense for them to do it, especially when you look at the overall outcomes. You look at the overall outcomes and how the kids turn out when they're raising kids by themselves versus how kids turn out when they're in a structured family unit. It's like everything that we identify as a problem in this space can be traced back to those decisions. And then there's, again, like I said, it's cultural, because other women, even before they even get to that point where they're where they're even in the presence and around and are able to get with men that's making more than $75,000 a year. They get pregnant less by men who don't make that amount of money, and they're more likely to when they do get married, like I say, a lot of times they got to put their money together and combine for 80, 90, 95,000. They put their money together and combine for that. They do that at a higher percentage rate, which means that they are operating in a way that lends to more function. Black women at a higher percentage rate are operating in a way that I think lends to more dysfunction. And so, like sort of like what Nate was talking about earlier, what I talk about all the time. Later on, when they figure it out, then I think you said it yourself. Later on, when they figure it out, they want the bailout plan. That's the chick that calls in the Kevin Samuels show. Like I always say, over 30, overweight with a couple kids by a couple men, trying to figure out how she can get a high value man. Now, when all the time is about to run off the clock. So, but overall, like I get aspects of the mechanics. I get the mechanics of it, but overall, it's a losing, failing plan, failing system.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's no. I don't think that problem gets solved by just saying, well, if black men made more money. It's like the type of men that make that amount of money, they're not making it until really they're after 30, until their mid 30s. So if those women had an attitude of in early 20s, we're going to marry men or look to marry men in their mid 30s, I think the men would be there and available. They're not nowhere near thinking like that. They're culturally not, primed or ready to do that. They're basically just being reckless. And when they get reckless, there's a bailout plan. There's a government bailout plan.
Yeah.
So,
it's
kind
of a conundrum that there's this desire not to have age gap dating where women who are in their mid 20s go into married men who are in their early 30s to mid 30s. And then they have a situation of they don't want to partner and build up in their mid 20s with guys who are going to track out to that by their mid 30s. It's kind of you got to pick one or the other, right? So like the guy that my wife dated before I met her, he was a few years older than me, but he was a neurosurgeon resident, right? And her parents were very pissed off that she didn't want to date him because they thought the ship had came in when she started dating him. But that's just what. But he was like she was like 21 or 22, and he was already like 34. He was like 34 already, right? So so it's kind of a weird thing. You have to pick and build with the guy, or you have to go up and get one who's already there, and you have to do in that time frame when they're in this certain time frame, and there's this hesitant to do either one. So that's I find that's interesting, especially when you look at again the data of how this stuff actually works.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But we are closing in at the 3-hour mark. We are closing at the 3-hour mark. Nate, I don't know if you had something else you wanted to say on that. Well, I mean, it is a interesting thing. I mean, it speaks to Nate's point how you know, the leftist democratic policies, you know, that's been, you know, pushed ever since, you know, the late 60s coming out of the 70s. That is a root cause of it. That is a root cause of it. We talk about that all the time in this space. But go ahead, Nate.
No, it's just you know, I've said, and I've caught flack for it, for saying I don't just automatically throw out a single mom, and I know some dudes do. They just write you off as soon as. I throw out the unrepentant single mom. If you are unrepentant and you see no problem with how you handled, how you brought your child into this world, how irresponsible you were, then there's nothing. I don't think any man of any consequence should give you any consideration. A single mom, this is the problem with shows like the Kavindra G show and other dating shows. These women have all these terrible red flag mistakes they've made. I have yet to hear one come to the show and say, look, to the men that are listening, you know, I've made some terrible mistakes in my life. I had my one child or my two children out of wedlock. I shouldn't have done it. I want to know if you can look past the mistakes I made and know that you'd be getting a woman that is refined, who's devoted her life to her children, and who will never make these mistakes again. I literally have never heard one of them say that on what's his name? KS's show, on Kavindra's show, on the Pineapple Show. These women are completely unrepentant. And someone who's unrepentant doesn't deserve any consideration. For the women that are listening that are single mothers, the first thing out of your mouth should be an acknowledgement of the mistakes you made and how you won't make them again and how you learn from.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I just figured out why I was saying Kavindra. I was like, why do people say that? I've just figured it out.
Yeah, Kevin. Well, he says Kavindra.
Why does he say that?
Put the short E on there. Kevindra. It's like anyway. It's the same. He's still in Kevin Samuels' shit after he's dead.
Is that her full name?
No, her name is Kendra. Her name is Kendra G. But because she's still in Kevin Samuels' shit, he's calling her Kevindra. But anyway. But Sir Tice, you're killing me. You saw me about to get off the air and you're gonna come up at the last minute. But go ahead. What you got for me? What you got for me?
2-minute warning. What up, Chris?
What's up?
The only thing that I correct my, you know, off and on host and partner, brother Nate, on is this. I don't think that they're loyal to the Democratic Party, as he says. I just think that they're loyal to whatever will benefit them at the present time. They may act as communists and Marxist socialists or what have you, but they couldn't even define strictly what that is. You know, it's just, well, this will get us the most, or this is the roller coaster ride we'll ride on. And then once they get in, goddamn, once they, and this does not apply to all, for all of you clip artists out there, okay? But when many of them get into some form of power, oh boy, they go on a power trip and they act the most individualist that you've ever seen. I'm surprised that this space hasn't discussed how many defections our vice president, Harris or whatever, but our vice president, how many defections she has, with many Black women saying, we can't work for her, you know? So that's just the point I just wanted to stipulate. I don't think it's just the Democrats, but it's they're just going to ride whatever train they can hitch their ride on. So look out, fellas. They're going to start riding the conservative train soon, too.
Yeah, interesting. Well, all right. We about to pack it in, and get on up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody who supported the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Robert J. Carmichael, did come through on the Cash App. And I think he was the only person that came through on the Cash App. And do appreciate you. And thank you again, Christian Hutchinson, always coming through with the data. Little Big Nate bringing the heat, and Sir Tice for holding me hostage for an extra 5 minutes. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. And with that said, ladies,
for that thumbnail, I'm gonna keep you up a little bit more, man. That's horrid, man.
she was resting in her femininity, man. She looked very comfortable. But all right.
Yeah.
I tried to find the worst picture. I couldn't find it. I would have been late getting on the air if I would have, because I was trying to find a chick of a chick passed out sleep in a bummy trifling ass looking house. I couldn't find one. That was going to be the resting in her femininity picture.
Sleeping
but anyway,
on a bed that's on the floor.
Yeah, sleeping on a mattress on the floor. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, to tell you the truth. But all right, y'all, we out of here. Peace.